top leagues.
Surreal scenes from this past Saturday's opening ceremony of the 2023 Special Olympics World Games in Berlin. Countries from all over the globe coming together in Germany's largest city for a common goal and a common calling of international unity and inclusion. Nearly 6,000 athletes and unified partners involved this week. There's a look at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, fittingly a symbol of unity in this wonderful city. As we get set to welcome you inside our venue for powerlifting, the Messe, a large venue hosting a number of sports this week, including powerlifting. You take a peek inside there, all the lifters getting set and ready to go as we welcome you side by side. Cheryl Hayworth, Jason Ross Jr., Kelsey Riggs joining us on the sidelines all week here in Berlin. Cheryl, it's a marvelous week ahead of us. So much going on. It's one that we love because there's the emotional theater, the competitive theater of the Special Olympics, and powerlifting truly is energetic theater.
Oh my gosh, you hear the noise in this room. I know you can hear it. The athletes can hear it too. This, from a competitor all my years competing, the kind of energy that's circulating around this room right now, that's going to add kilos to the barbell for sure. We're going to see that.
Anything that you're most excited about when it comes to this upcoming week?
Oh my gosh, so much. Well, the last time I was able to participate in something like this, I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. So be prepared just to be overjoyed. But it takes so much time, so much dedication in a sport where strength is a requirement. It takes months and years to develop. So these athletes, what I'm looking forward to is them coming out on the stage, owning it and showing off.
The commitment we talk about with these athletes is something, mentioned Kelsey Riggs is with us as well. Kelsey, that we experienced behind the scenes yesterday when everyone got together for training.
Yeah, Jason, it was just a warm-up day, a practice day, and the joy that we could feel in these athletes, also the strength they were already moving and showing, was just contagious. You felt that joy all across the city of Berlin, and we've just been here for a short time. I know these athletes are feeling it as well, and one athlete in particular that we talked to yesterday that is so pumped up to be participating today on the first day of this event is Ryan Stewart. You'll see him in just a little while. He's one of 3 athletes here in powerlifting for New Zealand. He said he is so excited about this event. I said, what are you going to feel like, Ryan, when you get ready to walk out on the stage for the first time here at the World Games in Berlin? What are the nerves like? And he said, nerves? I'm never nervous. I am just excited. It's something that we heard echoed throughout the day, and you guys mentioned what these athletes are seeing and feeling. They just came back beside me. I'm backstage right now. Walked back after that initial introduction to the crowd. The smiles were very big and cannot wait to see what they're able to do in this first day of powerlifting, guys.
Thanks, Kelsey. Great stuff. As you see the Messe getting closer and closer to competition, the smile of Ryan Stewart, Cheryl, is something that I think we could all embody this week, and something it's hard not to embody when you look around this building and around the different venues in Berlin.
Yeah, agreed. It's really, really hard not to get excited. I walked in the venue today and I instantly felt the tingles, ready to go.
Willkommen, as we welcome you again inside, things getting set. As we welcome you again to powerlifting.
Ooh, we getting a countdown.
And the countdown here. Well, in powerlifting, we have 3 judges. The head judge will give commands verbally. What we need in order for a successful lift, Cheryl, is 2 out of the 3 lights to be white lights. That means you have had a successful lift, and we'll see those lights on the television sets.
Yeah, correct, absolutely. And we already have our first competitor taking the stage.
Sagane Asanova, our first lifter of the day.
And these lifters are the lighter competitors. That's how weightlifting competitions kind of start out. Our heaviest competitors will be at the end of the week. And the important thing for these lifters to do is to make sure that they are looking for commands from the judge.
Saganay, the 15-year-old from the Kyrgyz Republic.
All right. And now we get our first chance to take a look at the signals. And you see a discussion, gentleman Chris, one of the technical officials. The only issue is the young lady did not wait for the judge to tell her to begin the lift. And this does happen a lot. Lots of cues to look for. The judge, for example, has her hand up in this case. She's sitting in the middle, almost directly in front of the racks. And that athlete will need to wait for that judge to signal that they're able to squat. And she just missed that cue. So moving right on, we're going to have our next competitor, and they have 1 minute to approach the bar.
So again, a no lifts.
Yeah, that was a no lift.
Attempt for Saganay Asanova. And we'll have 3 attempts per lift. Your squat, bench press, and deadlift for the vast majority of the athletes. The goal is at the end for your combined score of the 3 best lifts to top the other athletes. Li Rojia of China is 16-year-old, 4 years in Special Olympics.
All right, and you will be able to see a little bit, depending on the shot. The center judge, she has her hand in the air. There you go.
So 3 white lights there.
That is a successful lift. You can see that she took a glance up, checked with the center judge. Center judge dropped her hand, indicating that she was able to go ahead and squat. And these lifters are organized in such a way that not only will it be the most competitive version of this competition we can possibly see, but it also, for these folks who are changing and loading these weights, they actually need to be able to progress in such a way that they don't have to change too many plates out, because that really kind of eats up a lot of clock. So depending on what the athletes have indicated as their opening attempts is kind of where we're seeing the order today.
Spiridon Stefas of Greece, 23-year-old. Be our next lifter in the squat portion of this opening day.
We got another clean lift. Very good. And the standard for the squat, Jason, just so everybody knows, these athletes don't necessarily have to squat all the way down, though many of them will choose to do so. The standard that they're looking for is for the hip crease to dip just below the top of the knee. Unless the athlete reaches that depth, that minimum depth, it's not going to be a good lift.
And you may see the officials with potentially a blue card, red card to indicate if it is a no lift, the specificities as you kind of delved in there of what could consider to be a no lift.
Right. That way they can go backstage, make the correction on the next attempt.
Samir Aminov of Azerbaijan will be our next lifter. We really run the gamut in terms of age range and experience. So far we've seen multiple teenagers, and now the 39-year-old Samir Aminov will step up. Loves to sing and listen to music away from powerlifting. Also loves, this is one of our favorite facts, to play with his chickens in the yard at home in Azerbaijan.
That sounds like so much fun. So much fun. We'll see what he's got in the squat. I believe we have 40 kilos on the bar. That's about 88 pounds for those Americans. Now, as you guys can see, it's very, very important for athletes to get set and locked into their start positions.
We'll call it a good lift. 3 white lights for Aminov. You can see his reaction and the reaction of this crowd.
Crushed it. Hey, that's how you want your opening attempt to go, Jason. We talk about, you know, these barbells are only going to get heavier, right? So you want to be able to come out here, and you want to be able to do something, get it out of the way, get it locked in. It's a little less stressful.
Beautifully done. Opening attempts in the squat for Samir Aminov of Azerbaijan. Said he has really learned physical development, socialization, and communication with his other fellow athletes through Special Olympics. Of course, one of the so many neat things and neat stories that we get to dive into this week is the ability for these athletes to expand beyond the horizons with their fellow teammates. It's Ali Balushi Abdulaziz Mohammed of Oman will be our next lifter in the squat. The 20-year-old said his mom and dad always encouraged him to train, and always said that he is a champion and has the capability to win. That's his goal this week.
Yeah, weightlifting is a long game.
Yep.
It's a long game. You have to dedicate yourself to it for a long, long time in order to develop strength 1 kilo at a time. And let's see here. I don't believe that he got the down signal, so that might not be a good lift when we see it reflected there in the lights.
It was 40 kilos, and yes, as you mentioned, that will be no lift. Again, on the first attempt of 3 attempts for the squat, you also get 3 attempts for your other lifts, and it's the best weight that you successfully lift that'll be the score for that particular lift. And competitors have the opportunity today to win medals in the squat, the deadlifts, the bench press, and the combination.
Yeah, correct. So when an athlete comes out and they fail on their first attempt, all is not lost, of course. 2 more attempts to go. And it is important for athletes to get into a nice little routine. And honestly, the most stressful lift that probably will happen is probably this one. You know, they don't have, they can't hide behind the bench press. You know, you got to come out, you got to stand in front of everybody. You're making eye contact suddenly with a big crowd. So there's a lot of nerves. There's a lot of energy here in the first attempt. Boy, I tell you what, I missed a couple of my opening attempts too. A lot of nerves happening, but even if it's just exciting nerves, you know what I mean? The weights tend to feel a little bit lighter on stage too.
I don't know if I could say that, but you and these amazing competitors definitely know what it feels like. Talek Ajibayev, his first attempt of the day in the squat.
Yeah, Tilek, it seems to be a theme, just going a little too early. And you know what? As far as technical issues are concerned, that's an easy one to overcome, right? Coach just has a little chat. Hey, let's just be a little more patient going out there. Not going to have any trouble with the weights the next time around.
What is the coaching like behind the scenes?
Well, behind the scenes, honestly, there is a ton of action happening behind these curtains. We have the athletes separated into what's called flights. Now today, because of how it's arranged, we only have 1 flight. That means the barbell starts at a light weight and everybody runs through until they're finished with their opening attempts, all of them. Then they go back, everybody goes through again with a little bit heavier weight, but what you gotta do is you gotta make sure you don't do too much backstage. You wanna warm up, but you don't wanna wear yourself out. So it's a lot of conserving of energy and a lot of action as well, back and forth.
Here comes Madeline Perez of Venezuela, 29-year-old who's had 15 years of experience in Special Olympics. 21 delegates total for Venezuela across the different sports in the Special Olympics 2023 in Berlin.
The athletes in the squat are going to assume what they call a locked out stance. So making sure they're standing and in complete control over the weight, then they'll get that signal from the judge.
50 kilograms here on the bar.
Boom.
And look at that celebration.
That was a solid opening attempt.
You could feel how much emotion went into that one. The opening attempts very early on. And this is, Cheryl, what we love about these Special Olympics. Madeline Perez, clearly emotional after successfully lifting the 50 kilograms. The Venezuelan fans in attendance absolutely love it.
Oh yeah, this crowd, I could have taken a couple of these folks to the Olympics with me. I would have done a lot better. The energy is amazing. We got fans from all over the globe watching these athletes, and when I say that it makes a difference, I mean, I'm going to say it a lot more this week, but it truly, truly does. And I've been to a lot of competitions too, where it's like, 5 people in the audience. It's real hard to get cranked up for a heavy barbell lift, but this is ideal today. And the barbell has been increased to 70 kilos, and that's about 154 pounds. For those back home.
Just saw Perez lean on and leap into the arms of her coach. Now here comes Corrado Yuritsa Fernandez of Cuba. The Cuban contingent is strong here in Berlin.
Yeah. So what I saw from there is, although she squatted and stood successfully, she didn't quite get low enough. Remember, we were talking about the hip crease needing to be just below the top of the knee. Didn't quite make that, but she's going to do it on the next try. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure what she weighed in at or what many of these athletes, specifically their body weights, but we are getting to over body weight for sure. So the barbell is becoming quite heavier than these athletes. I was a super heavyweight, so not many opportunities for me to lift heavier than my body weight, so I'm always very impressed when I see it.
Jason Ross Jr. and Cheryl Hayworth here. Cheryl, of course, the medalist in the 2000 Sydney Olympics. And now, here's Cheryl, so happy to have you. Kelsey Riggs on the sidelines with us this week to watch these competitors. See the smile on the face. Jung-Ho An will be our next competitor, the Korean lifter.
And 10 more kilos has been added to the barbell, so we have 80 kilos. About 176 pounds.
Jung-Ho An, 19-year-old from South Korea. That looks pretty clean, Cheryl. What do you think? Yep.
That was pretty darn flawless. You know what I mean? You just come back out and you keep doing them like that. You're going to be good to go. I like that attempt. Excellent job.
Pretty businesslike for Jung-Ho An.
Oh, yeah. In the squat, truly, we think of leg strength and stuff like that, but sometimes the limiting factor, honestly, is core strength. Keeping those abs and the back locked in and all that stuff. That's why a lot of athletes are wearing belts. Take in deep breaths, typically, to help brace. At least that's almost always how I felt my heavy squats. Something gives, and it's not always the legs.
Here's the lifter that we were so excited to watch that Kelsey brought up on our open, Ryan Stewart of New Zealand.
Got the all-black singlet on.
All black on today. Told us no nerves, just excitement. As he makes his way onto the stage for his first squat attempt of the afternoon session. Just one session today.
Now Ryan's a pro.
New Zealand made a 29-hour journey here. Stopped in
Wow.
Adelaide, then Doha, all the way to make it to these 2023 games. And Ryan Stewart's first attempt on the squat of the day. Looks like they're going to call it a no lift here, Cheryl.
Oh, okay. I think they might have called him on the depth as well. or the signaling. And that's the thing with the lights. The reasoning they have, the red lights and the white lights, of course, we're looking for the white lights, but there are all these other indicators. There's also a blue light. There's a yellow light. There are several things that can happen through the course of the lift. So I think he reached the depth. It might have been something else that I actually didn't catch.
Kelsey has more.
Keeping an eye first and foremost on that, it looks like Chris, who's up on stage, one of the sport officials, was pointing to the right side. Cheryl, maybe you could provide more context. Not sure if there was anything that had to do with that, but Ryan just walked off. We've seen a couple of the athletes, although the first attempt may not have gone as they wanted. They come over here, they shake it off, and they immediately talk to their coach, excited for what's next. Ryan's definitely locked in. He's been training for about 10 years, so looking forward to seeing what he does next time.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelsey. And sometimes, it's one of those things. You can't ruminate too long. This sport will teach you how to move on mentally very quickly.
Rear view mirror.
Right.
Vishal Thiran Avukarasu of India.
$115 kilos on the bar. 253.5 pounds.
He describes himself as silent and strong. We saw the strength on display there.
Oh, yeah.
3 white lights.
I blinked and I missed it. No, that was 3 white lights, a clean lift, as you mentioned, and 115 kilos. I'll tell you what, we're already getting a heavy weight, especially in juxtaposed to the lifter's body weights.
Next year, we're going to look at 115 kilograms on this upcoming bar for Dimitrios Kyriakos Andriopoulos of Greece.
Now, Greece has a long, long, long tradition of weightlifting for obvious reasons. And Team Hellas is very familiar to me in my years of competition.
Ian Spiridon Stefas are the 2 from Greece in this competition. And that looks pretty routine for Andriopoulos.
Excellent lift. Smooth as butter, that's what you want. We don't want to see necessarily any grinding or anything like that happening on these openers. And remember, you were asking me what's happening backstage. Just one of the things that can contribute to maybe a little extra fatigue by the time we see the deadlifts is taking too large bites out of these opening attempts, but so far so good. I haven't seen any weights on the bar that appeared to be too heavy for anyone.
Next up, Laurynas Salas of Lithuania is going to come up. He's had 10 years in Special Olympics. His biggest influence is Lithuanian powerlifter Zydrunas Savickas, one of the strongest men in the world. And Laurynas had the opportunity to meet him once.
130 kilos been loaded up.
Very confident. And 3 white lights, well deserved there, and a smile on the face of Salas, the 24-year-old.
And we're on a roll now.
We're on a roll now. That was a brisk pace that he moved up there with and confidently heads off the stage.
And honestly, sometimes, the group, how it starts off or how your competitors closest to you can really sort of affect how you do. So psychologically, like if nobody can lift the weight, you're like, oh my gosh, it's too heavy. You know what I mean? But if everybody's going out and hitting it, the whole group does better. And that's really what we want to see. And we're getting into a little smooth patch here. I want to see some more white lights. 140 kilos on the bar. And we're already past 300 pounds, y'all. We're already at 308.5 pounds.
It's ramping up, and as you noted, it kind of goes from lightest to heaviest in terms of the progression today, and likely throughout the week as well, as Quang Min of China, the 22-year-old, will step up to the bar here for his first squat attempt. That was 140 kilograms for Quang Min. They will say no lifts here in the judgment. Again, you need 2 out of the 3 lights to be white in order for it to be ruled a successful lift. That'll go down as a no lift.
Right. If I'm being honest, I kind of missed what happened there as well. I was switching my eyeballs between the feed and the platform. But again, there are a lot of different reasons for that. You know, if an athlete's foot shifts, if an athlete doesn't wait for the signal. Yeah, but confidently I can say second attempts we're not going to have any trouble. And the folks we have loading the bar, the folks that we have, you know, officiating, I mean, we're all here to have a good time, right? And we want to see everybody be successful. So these coaches are really, really valuable to get sort of those cues and explanations as to why some of these lifts aren't successful, so that we can come back and we can nail the second attempt.
Sagane Asanova now up for her second attempt of the day. It was ruled a no lift on her first, native of the Kyrgyz Republic.
All right, and it looked to me, and the silence, I don't want to be premature with calling it for the very reasons I explained a moment ago, but that was flawless. She basically just needed to wait for the judge's signal. She did that, and that was a beautiful squat.
The resilience of these athletes is embodied in so many different ways in their lives, and maybe a minimal example of that there with Sagane Asanova bouncing back after being ruled a no lift on her first attempt, gets 3 very clean white lights on the second attempt.
Yeah, very, very clean. Probably one of the better squats so far we've seen today. But again, that's what I expect to see on the second round. People kind of just giving themselves reminders. Everybody's familiar with the competitors now.
Jia Li up for her second attempt now. Native of China. Two Chinese powerlifters in today's flight, this afternoon session. 89 total delegates for China. 8 total powerlifters, 7 of which are 22 years or younger. Jia Li, 16 years old. She's one of those, and she gets 3 white lights.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Good mobility in the squat. And what they're doing when they walk off the stage typically is they're giving these technical officials what they'll probably do on their second attempt. Or a third attempt rather now. This is the second attempt. All right, 35 kilos here.
Spiridon Stefas of Greece, his second attempt. Let out a yell and got 3 white lights. Gotta love that from Spiridon Stefas. That was great.
It's the universal squat noise.
Yeah. Love the energy of this event.
Guys, I am sitting here with his family right now, actually. They said they call him Spiros, so we can call him Spiros. I'm talking with his mom, Georgia. How does it feel to get to watch him on this big stage?
I feel perfect. It's a fantastic experience for us. We came from Greece today, yesterday, and it's fantastic. We're very proud.
When you talk about how proud you are, how do you describe those feelings of being proud of him?
I don't know if I can describe my feelings. I'm very, very proud. I'm very happy.
Yeah. And you got a quick smile afterward. Does he look for you guys after he finishes? Does he see you in the crowd cheering after he finishes?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yes, of course.
Guys, just one of the families that's here watching. They're very excited and very proud, obviously. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kelsey. That was the mom of Stefan Spiridon Stefas of Greece. As we see Samir Aminov step up for his second lift, and the parents behind the scenes, so incredible to watch their children see all the hard work pay off in an event like this, an event that so many of these athletes have worked long chapters of their lives for, and getting this opportunity is so incredible. I can't imagine what the parents in the stands who have made these long journeys are going through right now emotionally.
Yeah, absolutely. And, oh, sorry to interrupt there, by the way. We had another competitor come out and didn't quite, what it looked like is that he initiated the lift a little bit too soon. And they indicated that he didn't go ahead and re-rack it. But we do have third attempts. We have third attempts coming up and other opportunities to hit heavier squats or the same squat, whatever the competitor chooses to do.
Zulek Ajibayev, both powerlifters from Kyrgyzstan in the Kyrgyzstan delegation, are lifting today in this first flight. That is a good one. You'll take 2 out of 3 there in terms of white lights for Zulek Ajibayev.
Yep, majority decision there. Again, there are 3 competitors, or 3 judges, rather, from all different angles. So they're at about a 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and a 2 o'clock angle, because you can glean a lot of different things depending on where you're sitting.
Kyrgyzstan, a mountainous landlocked country in Central Asia that gained independence in 1991. Their Special Olympics program was actually founded that same year in 1991. Neat to see how the programs of different countries, no matter the size, build up over the years. Here comes Al-Baluchi Abdulaziz Mohammed of Oman. Oman, a part of Special Olympics Middle East and North Africa, which has 22 countries involved within it. A lot of really neat initiatives within Special Olympics Middle East, North Africa. Oman, one of the countries, and here is attempt number 2, coming in at 55 kilograms.
Yep, not quite successful on the first one. Had a lot to do with just waiting on those signals.
Which was a lower weight, by the way. But he ramps it up and gets 2 out of 3.
Yep, I like that lift too from where I'm sitting. But to your point, at a heavier weight, 33 pounds heavier, missing that first one, add more weight to the bar, coming out and nailing it. It's got to feel good.
It's an interesting concept mentally to go from a no lift on a lower weight to raising it up. Behind the scenes, what goes into that process of deciding to raise it up after a no lift?
Well, kind of just the knowledge that, right, because these athletes have their coaches with them, right? So
yep.
The knowledge that, hey, sometimes these mistakes are made in the gym as well. We've overcome them. We've had previous competitions. Sometimes it's easy for us to forget the signaling on the opener. So, and we know we can go up and we can be successful. So confidence between the coach and the athlete. And again, that erase button, you know, forgetting about what happened in the past and kind of just moving on.
For me, it's an intriguing mental game with everything that goes on around you, how energetic of a sport it is. But there also is an aspect of you are kind of solo. You're out there with the bar, and it's you and the bar.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to, you know, you're doing battle with gravity, essentially. And self-talk is very, very important, and just maintaining confidence and also accepting confidence from other people. When somebody told me I could do it, I believed him.
It's a beautiful quote. Madeline Perez. Let's see what they determine on the way up. It'll be a no lift, but her first lift.
Hey, that's an excellent gym lift, and you can tell because she's happy about that. And what happened at the very end, you can see that she moved her feet. So she got up and she made some foot adjustments, and that was just enough to get the no lift, even though she squatted it.
Yep, she went up 10 kilograms in that first lift, which was successful. Saw her leap into the arms of her coach after the first lift, which was a 50-kilogram attempt on the squat. And we have the squat, the bench press, and the deadlifts are 3 categories. Then the combined category after that. So opportunities for these lifters to win medals in each of those different 4 disciplines today. Perez was successful in her opening attempt. You're trying to take your best score out of 3 different lifts on each respective lifts, the bench press, deadlift, and squat. And then you add those 3 up at the end for your combined score. So here comes Yaritza Parado Fernandez of Cuba. Not her first rodeo in the World Games. She competed in the 2019 World Games in Abu Dhabi. Won gold in squat in her division. But this one here.
Sorry, the grunt. I couldn't help it.
No, I know you feel it as a lifter, as that'll go down as a no lift.
Yeah, and another thing, even though you can, in the gym, for example, double bounce, which means if you're coming up and you can't quite, sometimes an athlete can kind of drop and come back up and still be successful. But in a powerlifting competition, once the barbell starts to dip, so you can see she was squatting and then the barbell stopped coming up and started going down, they automatically have to call it, and that's when those spotters need to jump in and re-rack the bar. And that was the same weight she tried on her first attempt, so we expect her to come back out with 70 kilos, but I expect her to make it. Speaking of loaders, I think we're taking the bar to 85 kilos now.
Jungho An of Korea is up next. It is going to be 85 kilos on the bar here.
It's 187.25 pounds.
Jungho said the most influential person in his life has been his mother. Just loves her so much. Already talked to one of the mothers in the stands today. Spirido Stefan of Greece, who had a successful attempt on his last lift. And pretty routine for An.
Nice job. 3 white lights. No further recommendations for improvement.
No advice needed.
No advice needed.
Well,
Keep squatting like that.
As Ryan Stewart, right on cue, he's about to head up, said earlier, no nerves, all excitement.
Right. Right. And sometimes it's just about harnessing that excitement, right? Make sure you channel it in the right direction. Unsuccessful with 82.5, but like I said, Ryan's a pro. Ryan said, go ahead and put 10 more kilos on the barbell. I'm going to come out, and I'm going to crush it anyway. Ryan collected 4 gold medals from the International Powerlifting Federation Commonwealth Championships in 2022. So he knows his way around the barbell.
Here comes Ryan Stewart for his second attempt. As Cheryl mentioned, goes up a little over 10 kilos here on the second attempt.
We are just over 200 pounds, and I'll tell you right now, Ryan does not weigh 200 pounds. This is 203.75 pounds.
Loves going to the gym, spending time with his friends and family. Those are his 2 favorite things. He gets 3 white lights.
Yeah, that was more like it. That was what he wanted to do on the first one. And he has the confidence as a competitor and just really super familiar with the crowd and how it feels to be out here. So we had the confidence to go ahead and slap that 22 extra pounds on there and take care of business. 122.5 kilos being loaded up. 270 pounds.
Awesome job to bounce back there from Ryan Stewart. Put the first attempt in the rear view mirror. And now from Special Olympics India, for his second attempt, here comes Vishal Thiran Abukarasu. He looked very confident in his first attempt. Goes up to 122 and a half kilos here.
Yeah, first squat was a very, very good lift.
This is up about 7 kilos.
Yeah, he's got to drive through that hole, but he does it. Hangs in there. And that's 3 white lights again. You could tell it was a little bit heavier for him, but that's the whole point, right? Very good. And I was saying to you a little bit earlier, Jason, that, you know, how these competitors are selecting their attempts. Typically, even on your worst day in the gym, your opening attempt, you want that to be something that you can easily handle for reps, maybe 2 or 3 repetitions. Second attempt, these athletes are coming out either with what their best are or maybe close to what their best numbers are. Third attempts, if everything goes perfectly, maybe we try something we never tried before.
To provide some more context there, Cheryl, as you mentioned to me earlier, you can't go down from that first attempt.
Right.
So that's also part of the mindset there. As we saw a couple lifters have no lifts on their first attempt, go up, such as Ryan Stewart, and then be successful on that second attempt.
Absolutely right. So selecting numbers you want to lift is, I mean, it's most of it.
Meanwhile, up for his second lift is Dimitrios Kyriakis Andriopoulos of Greece. Had a very successful 2019 World Summer Games. Now back here in Berlin 4 years later.
Wow.
That was 125 kilos. Broke 3 white lights there. Successful.
Very easy, flawless, very much like the opening attempt.
We spoke to Spiridon Stefos' mom. Dimitrios Kyriakis Andriopoulos said that his mom really is so influential in his life because she supports him, helps him win. And said, if I could not win, I want to enjoy the game. And he loves it, he enjoys it so much. So do all of these athletes. It's been fun to see the smiles on their faces.
Being strong is a pretty cool feeling.
It is a pretty cool feeling.
You know?
Maybe I could experience that feeling one day.
Hey, let's go.
Show me a thing or two in the gym.
Oh yeah, anytime, Jason.
Here comes Min Quang of China.
It's very common for Chinese competitors give a little bow to the judges.
Very cool to see the different cultural traditions with 176 different countries represented throughout all of the Special Olympics 2023 World Games here in Berlin. Backing up what we saw in 2019 in Abu Dhabi. So many different countries there. Same story here in Berlin. A little over 6,000 athletes and unified partners.
Very, very good. And on that first attempt, 140 kilos was unsuccessful. That attempt, it's like we took weight off the bar. And there's no reason that the final attempts can't be some of the better ones, because you have a chance to go and regroup and reevaluate your technique and have a chat with coach. And also, as the weight gets heavier, the technique does need to be consistent. I mean, it's really, really hard to lift hundreds and hundreds of pounds sloppily, right? So
Yep.
Always remembering to stay centered and well balanced on the feet and slow down a little bit. We can see some even better squats and even better bench presses and even better deadlifts at the very end.
Nerenias Solis of Lithuania coming up for his second attempt, 10 kilos up from the first successful attempt of 130. This is 140 here on the bar. That looks very clean.
Wow. Excellent drive through the middle. You see when an athlete gets to about parallel, that's where it can all go wrong. That's where you're just maximal loads being put on your quads and your hamstrings and your core, and being able to fight through and push through that sticking point and not give up and not let that barbell dip back down. Well done.
The Lithuanian delegation sent 26 athletes to Abu Dhabi in 2019. That number continuing to grow. Before they left, they met with the president of Lithuania and then arrived here in Berlin. You see all the different fans from around the globe in attendance here in the Messe, our powerlifting venue all week. Cheryl Hayworth, Jason Ross Jr., Kelsey Riggs with you here in Germany's largest city, hosting this spectacular event of international inclusion. Sagane Asanova of the Kyrgyz Republic. Her third attempt.
I like the way that one looked. Let's see what the judges say. Now the lights aren't being displayed for us on the screen, but I'm pretty sure that was a good lift. Pretty sure that was a good lift, and we'll see that reflected on the scoreboard. That was 25 kilos.
They did call it a good lift, as you mentioned. We see that reflected on the scoreboard now. Went up 5 from that second lift. Into the third attempts now of these lifters in the squat portion of our day. Also have the bench press and deadlift still to come. Li Rojia of China. .40 kilograms.
Nice work.
3 white lights.
Nice work. And again, I am hesitating a little bit, waiting for the judges to call, but yeah, that sticking point, she got about halfway, started to slow down, pushed through instead of giving up, and was able to stand and lock back out. It is very important because when the judge gives the down signal, the athlete starts at their locked out position, and that's how the judge actually knows that the lift is completed again, right? When they resume that final locked out position just before re-racking the bar.
Mentioned we have 2 Greek power lifters. Spiridon Stefas, his mom is in attendance today. Kelsey spoke with his mom earlier. She's so proud. Said it was a struggle to even put into words her emotions watching her son compete here in Berlin. His third attempt, 42.5 kilograms.
It's a good, solid locked out stance. And boy, that's fast. He goes down, he comes right back up. Excellent job.
Hard not to smile when you see that. Incredible. We bring in Kelsey.
Yeah, guys, he ran all the way back, looked right at his parents again. It was great to catch up with his mom. The other thing that she said, he's really great at powerlifting. He loves powerlifting, but he also really loves dance and plays the piano. So she was really excited about that, said that he has a younger sister as well who is so proud of him, and they're obviously very proud to see him on this big stage. A great performance from him today.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Hitting all 3 of those squats like there was no weight on the bar. Looking forward to those bench presses and deadlifts.
Here comes Samir Aminov from Azerbaijan.
A little bit of a false start on the second attempt, so maybe just slowing down here, taking his time a little bit.
Same weight as that second attempt, 45 kilograms.
Hey, that's how you do it.
Yep, his first one was successful at 40 kilograms, and this one successful as he ramps it up and looks up to the crowd with 3 white lights for Samir Aminov of Azerbaijan.
That was a very good squat, coming back after that second one and leaving no doubt in the judges' minds. Well done. 45 kilos. We're all the way up to 55 kilos, I believe, here now. 121.25 pounds. And I will try and sneak back. Maybe I can get the body weights of the competitors as well, because I think that really would sort of frame it a little bit better. It's really hard to tell sometimes how large or small an athlete is next to a barbell.
Tilak Ajibayev's third attempt, 55 kilograms.
Now I expect a red light there because that foot came off. Real easy to kind of spot.
It is a no lifts on that third attempt for Ajibayev.
And it is hard to maintain balance after a heavy, heavy squat. Really easy to sort of get shifted to one foot or the other, or on the toes or on the heels. Footwear is important. Now these athletes get used to, you know, gym lifting and whatever they have, but typically we want to lift in a shoe that's not going to be squishy. So if you're coming out on a platform with a running shoe on, it's probably not a good idea. So something that allows you to really feel the ground and maintain that good balance on the feet.
You and Kelsey both had some awesome kicks on today, by the way.
Dude,
I can learn a
thank
thing
you.
or two from you about kicks in more ways than one.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate
No problem. Here's Aziz. His third attempt, 60 kilograms, Aziz Abdullahi of Oman.
All right, if the depth was good, then, oh, not quite, I guess. That was the only thing that was in my mind. If he squatted down just maybe 2 more inches, that would have been a good lift. But again, counts in the gym, and he's very happy about that.
He did get a successful attempt in his second, which was 55 kilograms. That ramped up. He was an interesting case because he was another one of our lifters who went up after a no lift on a first attempt that was lighter than the second. But he does have a successful lift of 55 kilograms despite that last no lift. We've loved watching the emotion of Madeline Perez of Venezuela, smiling at the camera. Seems to love the theater of this environment, Madeline Perez.
All right, officials kind of giving them some reminders and some things to be careful of as she goes ahead and handles business on this third and final attempt of the squat, and failing that second attempt with the same weight. She's got it this time.
60 kilograms. Was successful on 50 earlier.
There she goes.
Able to push through
Whoa.
it. Madeline Perez tops her total from that first attempt and cranks it up to 60 kilograms for 3 successful white lights.
She
Joyously
nailed it.
jumping up and down. Again, the Venezuelan fans in attendance, they love it.
That was an awesome squat. It really was, and you can see a little shift at the bottom because it's real heavy. She's like, nope, I'm standing up. I'm locking it out. This is going home with me. Great lift. All right, now, Parado needs to make this lift. Very, very important. And I think she can do it because this weight is not too heavy. And they're just giving her some reminders right now, some things to kind of consider and to remember when she goes up there to do this third and final squat.
Maritza Parado Fernandez of Cuba. Plenty of anticipation around her after her success in 2019 in the Summer World Games. And now again trying to get at least 2 white lights here out of the 3 judges' determinations on 70 kilograms. Same as her first 2 tries.
Push, push, push. Not quite. That's okay, though. Crowd's letting her know to shake it off, not to worry too much. She came out here and fought hard.
Yep, she certainly
Fighting
did.
hard for that weight. And I will tell you, relative to 70 kilos, what her body weight is, I don't imagine she weighs too much more than maybe 50 kilos, honestly. So I'm impressed, to say the least, by the strength in that young lady. But she's going to come back. She's going to do some bench presses and some good deadlifts for us. They're loading up 90 kilos right now. It's about 198.25 pounds.
Certainly expect Yuritsa to bounce back. The gold medal that she earned in her first World Games was the first medal of her Olympic weightlifting career in the Special Olympics, and we saw her Cuba socks that she wore in 2019 as well. Meanwhile, back comes Jeng Ho An.
All right, here we go. First attempt's looking very, very good.
Cranks it up here another 5 to 90 kilograms. Went from 80 to 85 and now 90. A smile all the way through it.
Jong Ho was made to squat. That's another beautiful, beautiful lift. Got to feel happy about those results.
Oh, yeah. Briskly moves off the stage and on to the next order of business.
We got another increase on the barbell. I think we're going to go to about 102 kilos here. And I mentioned before that they're organized into flights, and sometimes we will have more than one flight in a competition, but today there's just one, which is why we're seeing kind of all the competitors go through, and then all the competitors go through again.
And Cheryl, those flights are to essentially separate into lifters who are closer to one another in terms of what they're going to put on the bar for that first lift.
Right, right. And you see the loaders here doing a lot of work, adjusting the weights, adjusting the height of the racks. And in order to have the competition run smoothly, it's imperative that athletes be grouped up in a way that makes sense. Save them a little bit of grief with the changing of the plates.
Crowd looking on as Ryan Stewart steps up for his third attempt at 102.5 kilograms. Went up 10 kilos, give him 3 white lights.
That was awesome. That was awesome, and it's kind of like I mentioned before, you know, these athletes are getting a lot of feedback. They're getting a lot of information, not only just from external sources, but their own bodies. So coming out here for the third attempt, yeah, it's heavier. There's a lot of ways we can make sure to make this the best squat that we did all day. You know, what did I do wrong on the last one? What can I do better on this one? I love it.
That last replay of Ryan Stewart, you could see on his face how he was pushing through the 10 additional kilos that he raised up and looked very technically sound for that time. Meanwhile, third attempt on the horizon here for all of these athletes in the squat portion of our day. And we'll have the bench press and deadlift as well.
We got 286.5 pounds on the bar.
Vishal Thiruna Vukarasu of Special Olympics India.
Oh, not quite. Not quite. Hey, good form though.
Yep.
The strength and ability to sit down in the bottom with that weight. He squatted a lot of weight today, just not quite able to get out of the hole with that one. Took a big swing at it though. He's credited, let's see here. What is he credited with? Oh, there's Vishal, 122.5 kilos on the second attempt squat that he did. not too bad.
No. Meanwhile, in attempts coming up here, they'll be up 10 from 122 kilos, 132.5 for Dimitrios Kyriakos Andriopoulos of Greece in his third attempt in the squat. Total of 133 powerlifters that we'll see throughout the week, 14 today in this afternoon session flight.
Nice. I think the depth was good too.
It was quick.
Dimitrios is a squat machine.
He is.
Squat machine, and not a ton of hesitation.
No.
He's got those long legs too, and that can be a little bit challenging, but just makes very short work of that weight. Very impressive.
In what ways does maybe having longer legs make it challenging?
Well, you know, the femur length especially, you do on occasion see athletes who are just built in such a way that it mechanically actually makes it harder to stand. My legs, for example, got a nice short little femur, a little bit longer in the tibia. It's just a little bit more, or it's a little less work for the levers in my body to have to go. So, I mean, you know, it gets more scientific than that, but.
You know, I always love a good lesson
Levers
from
and
you
such.
in anything, and that was phenomenal. Meanwhile, here comes Larinia Salas of Lithuania.
And aside from the obvious, it's simply less distance to go too. You got longer legs, you got to push the barbell further.
It's the voice of Cheryl Hayworth, Jason Ross Jr., Kelsey Riggs with us as well here in Berlin at the Messe.
Push.
That'll be a no lift for Salas. However, his first two were very clean. Had totals of 130 kilos and 140 kilos. The 140 will be the best.
That was a good
This
fight
attempt.
there.
Yep.
That was a good fight. We all have our sticking points. Everybody has a point in the squat where they are the weakest. And like I said, it's usually about just beyond parallel. There's a great exercise called the Anderson squat, where you set the blocks up and you have the barbell sort of at that awkward height, and you kind of get under it. You have to, the barbell stops statically, and you have to like drive from out of your sticking point. Man, sometimes I give that to my athletes just to ruin their day. It'll make you stronger though. Named after the great Paul Anderson, famous American strongman. But here we go, 147.5 kilos on the bar. Speaking of strong men.
Wang Min of China. His third attempt, cranking it up about 7 from his successful second attempt. Did that one with another smile on his face.
Wow. Very nice, very smooth.
Bows and looks to the crowd after 3 white lights.
And then after a little bit of a, you know, missing the first attempt, missing some cues here and there, just coming back with some very pretty squats.
His smile grew as he went up in the lift. I absolutely loved that.
And that was the last squat of the day.
That rounds out the squat portion of the day, as all of the lifters have gone through 3 different attempts. Again, we have the squat, the bench press, and the deadlifts.
Because of that one flight, that means we're going to have a 20-minute break. So the athletes are actually going to have to go backstage and completely warm up for the bench press. They've been geared and focused in on the squat for so long that it does take about that long. And yeah, we're going to let them do that. Bench press, man. I was the worst at bench press, really and truly.
It's a lift that I feel like you hear lifters say that pretty frequently when it comes to the bench press. So it'll be interesting to see how things switch up. Bench press and squat still to come. Here at the Messe as fans reset during this 20-minute break.
a good time to get some snacks.
That is true. Always a good time to get some snacks. Again, still to come are bench press and deadlifts. We have 3 different disciplines. Just went through the squat. The goal is take your best lifts of the 3 attempts in each of those 3 disciplines and add those up, and that'll be the combined score at the end of the day. Opportunities also to win medals in each of those disciplines, the combined squat, bench press, and deadlift. As you see some of the faces of our squat opening portion, it's so cool to watch. In a packed house here at the Mesa. Madeline Perez, her emotion was palpable. That was the first attempt, leaping to the arms of her coach. Kwang Min, Ryan Stewart, saw him bounce back. So cool. Gotta love the emotion of this opening day here at the Mesa.
It's only going to get more and more exciting, too.
133 total athletes in powerlifting throughout the course of this awesome week. This global inclusion movement that is the Special Olympics here in Berlin. This is Ryan Stewart's 3rd attempt. A look at the result list from the squat, the best totals. Again, that's what you're taking, the best total out of the 3 different attempts. The bench press and deadlift still to come. Here in the Special Olympics taking place from June 17th through the 25th. There are your top totals. Kwang Min tops out that group, 147.5 kilos, and did it very calmly and coolly as well.
Oh yeah, pretty convincing 325-pound squat if I've ever seen one.
In about a 20-minute break right now between our last session, the squat, and the upcoming bench press. Deadlift still to come. Cheryl Hayworth, Jason Ross Jr., Kelsey Riggs with us. Hard not to smile here in the Mesa. It's been a wonderful start to the day. We saw resilience on display, the faces and emotions of these athletes, fans and parents in the stands. Cheryl, and now moving on to this next portion, which will have the bench press. You just mentioned probably your least favorite of the day.
Yeah, I'm not so great at it. But I'll be impressed watching these athletes make it look easy, though.
When you look at takeaways from our first portion of the day, what are those takeaways for you?
For me, it's just about being focused in and maintaining confidence, you know, and we saw a lot of that when the athletes were squatting. We saw some failures. Then we saw, we're going to regroup. Maybe we'll add some weight to the bar and we'll take care of business. These athletes, again, they've been training for a long, long time. They know how heavyweight feels. And as far as being intimidated, the squat is probably the most intimidating one. You're full front to the audience. Bench press is going to be a little more low-key, and we're going to see athletes really settle into their grooves, I think.
It's almost like a mental compartmentalization going from one discipline to the next, and these athletes currently doing that behind the scenes. What are the conversations, or maybe stepping away from conversations, I guess, taking place right now behind the scenes?
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you brought that up because there are partial celebrations.
Yep.
You know, you hit a big lift. You get full of adrenaline when you do those things too. So you have to give yourself a chance to calm down after that sort of thing. Sustaining that level of energy is really hard to do, and it's going to be hard to sustain through the deadlift. So you take a minute, you celebrate, you get annoyed with yourself, you do whatever you need to do, and then it's switching the gear. Now there's nothing else in the world exists besides bench presses.
That's so cool. We actually had a conversation before going on the air today about clearing the mind mentally. For you, what was that like for you, clearing the mind?
You know, I always used to try to remember that I was there to have a good time, right? It's a competition. You should embrace the joy and like the celebrating what your body can do, right? So when it seemed a little bit stressful or I suddenly don't want to be here, you remember that, and you remember your training and the hours and hours and hours you spend in the gym. Breathing exercises always help. The folks that you're with, your community, your people, your coach, that's part of their job too. It's just good job, pat on the back, clear the mind. You know, we got some business to take care of still.
Well, that's so neat to hear. Just behind the scenes, we saw a lot of it yesterday when it came to these athletes training and getting ready. It was very, very intense behind the scenes. These athletes have put in so many hours of work into their craft. Talked to some of the parents behind the scenes here today who have witnessed that, and it's so neat to see it all paying off with 133 different powerlifters that we'll see throughout the week here in Berlin at this awesome, awesome venue that's housing so many different sports here. Judo taking place next door. Again, these athletes in the midst of getting set between our squat portion and then the upcoming bench press. Then we'll have the deadlift after that. So in the midst of a 20-minute break right now, anything else that you're looking forward to ahead when it comes to the bench press and ultimately the deadlift?
Yeah, just more of the same levels of intensity, right? I want to see athletes just in general approaching the barbell the same way, not appearing too much one way or another. You know what I mean? Once you feel out an athlete's cadence and rhythm, stick with it. You don't want to see too much over-the-top excitement, but you also want to see people get fired up, and also remembering good patience and listening for those cues from the judges. But as far as actual lifts, again, everything that gets put on the barbell today is going to impress me in the bench press.
Same here. It definitely impresses me. I mean, it's been so neat. These athletes, we talked to Spiridon Stefas' mom, Spiridon, one of the Greek lifters today, and she talked about not even really being able to put into words just how emotional she is and what this moment means to her because of everything that goes in behind the scenes to being able to impress us today, and they make it look fairly routine as well. So it's just so neat to see all this hard work paying off at this setting.
Families especially. It's so important. Like when I would go to the Olympics and just knowing my mom and my dad and my sisters face painted, pom-pom, you know what I mean? That kind of support really goes a long, long way to making an athlete feel comfortable and supported and celebrated. And that's what this competition is all about. And I'm glad you mentioned the amount of competitors that are here. There is so much representation all over the globe, and what a wonderful feeling to be brought together. We're all toiling away. We're all doing this one very special thing, and now we all get to celebrate it together, and that's so important.
It's a week of coverage here with our ESPN family, and on Good Morning America the other day, Tim Shriver, son of Special Olympics founder Eunice Kennedy Shriver, said in a city historically known for its walls, we're here breaking down walls and breaking down barriers, and it truly is an amazing inclusive movement, the global presence that this place has and all the different cultures, and we're trying to break down those barriers. We were on Google Translate yesterday trying to get into conversation with people from around the globe, and getting their feelings and emotions going into this was so super cool. And now we're getting to see it play out, and it's been amazing so far. Just early on still in our powerlifting day one, just an afternoon session today here at the Messe. We'll have mostly morning sessions and afternoon sessions the rest of the day, rest of this week, I should say. But today, just the afternoon session, which will include, again, our bench press, deadlift, and squat portions here at the Messe. It's pretty amped up in here now, even between the breaks. You mentioned people might go away to get food every now and then, but they're also on a dance cam at the Messe at the moment.
Yeah,
and it's getting pretty amped up. Should we join them?
You know what? Why not? Do the old what is this? The Cabbage Patch from like the 20s or from the 90s? What did I say? The 20s.
2000 is a good year for you.
We do the
Cheryl Hayward
60s dancing. Yeah, the 2000s. That was a long time ago.
It was a good year for you. Cheryl, of course, was a medalist in the 2000s Olympic Games in Sydney. She's being modest here. It was a great year for you.
Well, it's only about 23 years ago now. God, I was in high school. I was in high school when I did that. Crazy. 17. You know why I got the bronze medal? Because I didn't have the good sense enough to realize that I should have been terrified. That's Sometimes that's how it goes.
Being naive is a good thing sometimes. I mean,
It is.
Go up on the stage and feel you can truly do anything. Doesn't hurt.
It's true. It's true. Oh, man.
Our dance camp still going on here
Right.
at the Mesa. Fans from all over the globe.
People are
standing up,
battling for airtime, too.
battling for airtime.
And I just want to say, too, that this competition is entirely run by volunteers.
Yeah.
We'll see a lot of people on camera that have the purple shirts on. It took me a second to think of the word purple. But those are the volunteers who are really just giving all their time and effort to put what an incredible event to put together, and not have anybody who's paid, right?
Yep. 18,000 volunteers, 9,000 of which are from different countries. 85% of the athletes and Unified Partners are from outside of North America. So that just is kind of a point to really expand on how many different people from around the world we have in this event. We'll see some athletes throughout the week. I mentioned New Zealand. That's a 29-hour journey for the people from New Zealand that stopped in Adelaide and then Doha. We have 2 powerlifters from the small island nation of Nauru. In fact, the smallest island nation in the world, Nauru. So it'll be really a movement throughout the week that we'll see a very wide variety of competitors and families and coaches from. As we have Kelsey again with us, reporting all week, and she has more.
Hey guys, yes, I'm hanging out backstage right now, and you were just talking about all of the volunteers, and we are seeing so many of them work so hard back here. There's volunteers that are standing by to guide them as they come off of stage, and then over to my right is kind of the staging area where you'll see them line up one by one as they get ready and find out the order that they're going in. We also have some phenomenal volunteers who are helping me translate. You'll hear that in some of the interviews that we're doing in just a little while. So some of those volunteers that are helping are also having the ability to help us translate. I just spoke to Madeline from Venezuela. You'll hear that in just a little while, and I know it probably stuck out to you guys. One of the things that I noticed was her energy every time that she came up on stage, and then afterwards she had a big smile on her face here as well as I talked to her. Her coach was getting emotional as he talked about how much she meant to him, said that she was more like a daughter to him. So that was really special to hear, and I think that there's so many of these coaches that have spent so many times with these athletes, working with them, and to see them on this stage and succeed at this level is such a big deal. Also gotten to go through the crowd just a little bit, and that's fun as well. You guys, where you're sitting, you have your back to the crowd. Where I'm standing, I get to come out and peek, so I get to look at the faces of these parents and then some of their fellow teammates from their country that are here, and see what the moment means to them as they continue to take it in. Everybody told us, I'm sure you guys are feeling it, that this is the best place here at the powerlifting venue. The energy throughout the room the entire time. And guys, it's so powerful to see these athletes, the way they continue to be lifted up, and the strength that they have showed throughout the day today. So I'm hanging out backstage right now, keep popping out and spying on you guys when I can, and I'm going to work hard to try and get some more interviews as well and talk to some of these families and the teammates that are standing by, because to see the amount of pride that they have for their countries, for their teammates, for their families and friends is something that is really special, really unique.
Thanks so much, Kelsey. Awesome stuff here at the Mesa. That's Kelsey Riggs, Cheryl Hayworth, Jason Ross Jr. with you, our awesome ESPN team on hand all week long for powerlifting at the Mesa. Just day one in this afternoon session.
You got even technical officials hyping things up.
Exactly. Everyone's getting hyped up and getting settled back in after grabbing some snacks between the squat, which opened us up, bench press on the horizon. In about 4 minutes, some of the faces in the stands.
Yeah, Kelsey mentioned, the coaches and how closely they're working with their athletes, obviously. And, these are people that athletes are spending every single day with. like every single day. And weightlifting is one of those sports where it's like 3 or 4 days a week minimum you have to train. And yeah, it's just, it's so heartwarming to see them here. These coaches are amazing, and the volunteers.
Well, moments ago, Kelsey caught up with Madeline Perez of Venezuela.
I'm here now with Madeline and her coach and a translator who is going to help us because she is unofficially the winner in her weight division. If you can just have her describe what it feels like to stand out on that stage and to win.
¿Qué has sentido? ¿Nos puedes describir qué has sentido en el escenario al ganar?
Bueno, primero muchas gracias por todo, me siento muy feliz en el día de hoy, es muy especial para mí, gracias a la gente de Olimpiadas Especiales de Venezuela, le mando un saludo que está hoy integrando un evento que nos está apoyando el día de hoy.
She wants to say thank you for all the Venezuela Special Olympics because they are supporting them today, and she's really thank you for all of this support, no? What do you feel, no? ¿Qué has sentido en el escenario? Ganaste?
Primera vez que me montó en un escenario así como este, me sentí muy emotiva y con sentimientos encontrados. Primera vez que me montó en un escenario así, con bastante público, y bueno, me siento muy contenta del gran trabajo, gracias a mi entrenador que me entrenó duro, y le mando un saludo de Venezuela.
She said that it's her first time in this stage, no? That she felt really emotive at the beginning, then she has like, oh, I will do it or not. She was not sure, but then finally she wins. She's really happy, and she wants to say thank you to her coach because she trained really hard, and then she get it.
Coach is a little emotional looking on. What does it feel like for him to see her have this success?
Que estás emocionado y qué sientes tú al verla ganar.
Wow, he sentido la mejor experiencia que puedo sentir en mi vida. Ella para mí es mi hija de las pesas, sentí el cielo cerquita, le doy gracias a Dios. Ella me llevó a sentir el cielo.
She said that it was amazing, no, that she's like her daughter. She's not, but she's like, because they work a lot together, and she brings him to the event. That was amazing for him, this feeling.
I know she's not done yet, but I saw the energy. Every time she stepped out there, are we going to see that same energy and enthusiasm the rest of the day?
For sure, I think so, no? Ella dice que vio tu energía, que te vio con muchas ganas, que si va a ver esa misma fuerza y energía durante el resto del día.
Bueno, muchas gracias, me siento muy orgullosa de mí, de mi trabajo. Y como dice el juramento, si no puedo ganar, quiero hacer el intento en el valiente.
She said that thank you again, and she will try her best. If she cannot win, she will try as much as she can, no? Yeah.
That's great.
She will do it, for sure.
Congratulations, you were phenomenal.
Enhorabuena, eres una fenómena.
Gracias.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Have to love the energy of Madeline Perez, the 29-year-old, again, unofficial winner in her division. Great interview from Kelsey there. Awesome, awesome stuff with these athletes, their stories being told and their emotions being seen on this amazing stage. In day one of powerlifting at the Messe in Berlin.
Yeah, you can see the emotion on the coaches' faces as well. They're fun to watch. Not only the competitors super excited and just chuffed and just thrilled with the numbers they're able to hit, but the pride and just these coaches work so closely with these athletes again, day in and day out. It feels, and I'm a weightlifting coach now too, it really does feel almost like you've done it yourself, you know, when of course your athlete's doing all the hard work.
Getting set to move on to the bench press portion now. Samir Aminov will be our first lifter in the bench press, as these fans who just had this place more than rocking literally a moment ago.
Yeah, we
back
were
up.
shaking in the stands here.
We were literally shaking.
I love it. Bench press is one of those lifts. I think they're pretty universal, like the deadlift. A lot of people are familiar with it. There's going to be a couple different things to look out for here if you're not a powerlifting competitor. And again, it is waiting for the cues and the signals from those judges. So we're going to hear a lot of audible cues because the athletes aren't going to visually be able to have their eyeballs, of course, on the judge. So the athlete is going, or the judge is going to tell the athlete when they can unrack the bar, when to bring the bar down, and when it touches their chest, they actually get a cue to press as well. So they can't just come down and press like you're at the gym, boom, boom, boom. They got to wait for that signal and then go to full lockout. Whatever the anatomical range of your elbow, we got to get there. We got to lock it out. We got to hold for a second.
Samir Aminov, who's had 7 total years in Special Olympics, 39-year-old, will step up for his first bench press. Again, 3 total lifts in the bench press for each of the competitors. Take the best score, and that will be what we'll look at for who will win this portion. Of course, deadlift to follow, and that would, after that score, rack up the combined scores total. Aminov from Azerbaijan. $15 kilograms on the first attempt. The red light there on that first one.
Yeah, and he had a similar start, I think, on the squat, is just remembering to, to listen for the cue to press. You saw the barbell come down, touch the chest, and then kind of come up a little bit too quickly. But the official is also having discussion. Oh, and she pointed to the bottom of her shoes as well. That's a good reminder for me to look at the athlete's feet. So what is happening also in the bench press, aside from those things that I explained, the athlete's head, shoulders, booty, and the bottom of your feet, they all need to stay in place.
Yep.
Really easy for the hips to lift off and the butt to come off the bench. While you're struggling with those heavy weights, athletes need to keep those things in mind as well. So about 45 different things.
So, yeah, there's a lot of technical components
go
into it. Essentially kind of looking for, hopefully the foot doesn't slip out.
Right. In the bench press, even though, it's a lot of pectoral muscle in arms, it is a full body exercise. The legs are engaged. The lats are engaged. You're using your whole body to lift the weight. Being able to create maximum amounts of tension throughout the body is critical for all of these lifts.
Rojia Li, the 16-year-old from China. First bench press, 20 kilograms.
Good. I think she got all those signals there. Locked out. Very nice. Remember, we were talking about long legs versus shorter legs for the squat. Here we have advantages for people who don't have very long arms, right? There's less distance for the barbell to go. She had that pressed out before I even knew what happened. Very good lift.
Looking for 2 out of the 3 white lights for a successful lift. She got all 3 there. You have 3 judges. The head judge gives the commands verbally that Cheryl's referring to. Jung Ho An, who was excellent in the squat portion, actually won that discipline at 147.5 was his best total in the squat in terms of kilos, and now he'll begin his bench press portion with 20 kilos attempting here.
And we do see the coaches giving a lot of assistance to placement of hands, sort of reverting back to those roles that they would naturally be doing in the gym to help the athlete more comfortable and feel more settled. And that's another really, really good bench press.
He's just looked so technically sound all afternoon. Doesn't change from discipline to discipline.
Just bouncing right off the stage, too.
love the momentum that the athletes, obviously, this is where the unique individual aspect of the sport comes in. There's a different approach. There's a different departure of the stage. It's different what you're doing behind the stage that we can't see right now. It's just all very unique to each individual competitor.
It is, and that's why I was saying before that I really like to see athletes kind of approach the bar the same way every single time, even if it's heavier or, you know, routine is important. Routine is very, very important.
Sagane Asanova of the Kyrgyz Republic up for her first bench press attempt.
Judge is just asking for maybe a cue to lock the elbow out, nice and solid at the start. Really not quite able to get that barbell up, but we got off to a good start. She locked in, she initiated okay. Just one of those cues, got to wait to touch the chest and then wait to get the press.
We saw these athletes bounce back in the squat portion. That was really neat to see. So a couple will try to do that in their second attempts. Meanwhile, first attempt coming up here for Abdulaziz Mohammed Al-Malouchi.
Yeah, we did see a lot of that at the start of the squat, which is why I'm not worried at all. It's kind of switching gears here and taking a little chance to get acclimated to what's happening now.
Here, the start call.
Yeah, pretty audible that time. You could hear the judge give the command.
3 white lights for Al-Malouchi.
Moving right along, 25 kilos being loaded up on the bar.
Yaritza Pareto Fernandez is going to be the first one to try 25 kilos.
And Yaritza did miss her squats. I'm very interested to watch her come out and be successful.
To your point, Shirlette, first time around in the squat, we did see as the athletes began to move along in the order, other athletes maybe seemingly get acclimated to what they were doing, and then that's when we got more of a rhythm.
Right.
We expected to see Yaritza Pareto Fernandez bounce back. Her first 3 white lights of the day come to bench press.
That was excellent. Very sharp. It's got to feel good after, I don't know, maybe a little trickier squat session than you were anticipating. Very, very good.
Spiridon Stefas. It's been a really, really neat story today. His mom in the stands, in support, coming from Greece. He holds up his fist to the crowd as he gets set for his first bench press attempt.
Ready to go. I love the writing on the back of the singlet here, like an ancient Greek sort of script, font.
Yep, the term for Greece and essentially the ancient Greek term for Greece, Hellas.
And you'll notice the athletes' feet on these boxes here. Those are for the athletes like me who have shorter legs. because remember, we want to keep those feet flat on the ground.
Ah.
And that was an awesome bench press.
And a hug for his coach right after.
It's like, did you see that? I crushed it. Did you see that? And that's about 54 pounds or so, 25 kilos is. We're going to keep that on the bar.
Awesome reaction there from Spiridon Stefos. His countryman Dimitrios Kyriakos Andriopoulos, also from Greece. And here comes Madeline Perez and her coach, who Kelsey spoke with after the squat portion.
She says she's going to do her best, but if she doesn't, then she's just going to have a good time. She's going to leave it all out on the platform, as we like to say.
Nothing left behind. And she brings a lot of emotion and happiness to powerlifting. This is such a communal sport. A lot of people cheering one another on.
Grip is very important for the bench press. For obvious reasons, just having the grip a little bit to one side or the other is going to cause the entire barbell to tilt. Definitely want to avoid that. And she does.
So she followed suit with the 25 kilograms that a couple of prior lifters had ramped up to, and successful with 3 white lights from the judges.
Excellent. All right, Tilek coming out for the increase at 45 kilos. Sorry, I stole your thunder there. Didn't even realize I did it.
No, feel free to, we can exchange just any sort. I mean, this place is a thunderous atmosphere. So we just get to be a part of it and then try to reconvey the energy that we get from everyone.
99 pounds, 45 kilos.
Tilek Ajibayev, one of 2 powerlifters from the Kyrgyz Republic. Mountainous country in Central Asia. "16 years of age."
Oh man, just a little too speedy with the press. Didn't want to linger. Hey, but at least we know it's a very, very easy weight. Very lightweight. Just got to slow down a little bit.
So he's one, to your point, Shirley, maybe we see him gets that down, what you just mentioned, and then perhaps ramps it up, as we saw a couple of athletes do when they had no lifts on their first attempt in the squat. Wasn't necessarily successful on the board, but knowing you can do something, and in practice, as you've noted, they've gone through this so many times with their coaches that we will potentially see that weight ramped up the next time around.
Yeah, I think that would be fair, a fair assumption based on how that looked for sure. And sometimes you can see, and I can feel it in my own body when, ooh, we just got a little too much weight on the bar. But that's what you want. That's what you want. I explain to my lifters sometimes, I want failure to be because it's too heavy. That means you did everything else right. You know what I mean? So from a coach's perspective, that's my goal. So then we just go back to the gym, we do more squats, and we get stronger, you know? So these competitors definitely have it in them.
Dimitrios Kyriakos Andriopoulos of Greece.
Saw some awesome squats from Dimitrios.
His first bench press will be 65 kilos, as we've noticed the weight getting from a lighter weight to a heavier now, certainly with Andriopoulos, and he was successful with 65 kilograms.
Very good.
That's the highest weight we've seen so far of this first round of bench presses.
Got about 4 more to go. Again, we're going from lightest opening attempts to heaviest opening attempts. Then these athletes are going to come back and do a second attempt and a third attempt.
At the moment, we know Laurinas Solis is going to attempts 90 kilograms when his lift comes up. That's still a few away. Quang Min, who was so successful in the squat today, won that portion at 147.5 as his best lift. And right now, it'll be Vishal Thirana Bukarasu of Special Olympics India about to step up onto the stage.
They got the barbell loaded up. 70 kilos now. It's 154.25 pounds. You saw the loaders sort of loading and unloading, and it does take a little bit of time, which is why it's organized this way. Finally got it situated. And the athletes will give an indication which levels and heights they need the racks to be as well, or at as well.
$70 kilos. And that looks pretty good. It is 3 white lights for Vishal. And the 20-year-old comes out looking confident in his first bench press.
Very smooth. Good lockout too. Elbows just boom, boom. And that's, you know, that's one of the tricks to lifting heavy weights, honestly, is to be able to stack your joints. So keeping the elbows bent, you're actually like using a lot of muscles and energy. So being able to have a good lockout will actually have you expending much less energy.
Ryan Stewart will be our next lifter as they get the bar ready for him. Ryan going to attempt 72.5 kilos. That would be 2.5 up from what Vishal just did.
$159.75 pounds.
Ryan Stewart from New Zealand. Competed in the Commonwealth Powerlifting Championship, said that was one of his proudest moments in sports.
Tremendous accomplishment.
Yep. Collected 4 gold medals in that International Powerlifting Federation Commonwealth Championship in 2022. He's trying to collect some more hardware here in Berlin. Gets 3 white lights on 72.5 kilos.
Well, if you're gonna get some more medals, that's the way to do it. Keep adhering to the technique, and that's the thing too. Is when the barbell gets heavier, your brain has a tendency to tell you that you need to do something different, and experience will tell you to shut that little voice off in your head that tells you to panic, and just hang in there and trust your technique, trust your coach. I tell my athletes all the time, I'm not going to put weight on the bar that I don't for sure know you can do, or at least capable of doing. Right? So that kind of confidence, so having somebody like that in your corner, standing behind you. We have a little square actually taped on the stage. You guys will see these coaches are able to really kind of intimately get close to their athletes, give them cues and reminders, and it helps.
Again, going back to the unique aspect of this sport, here's the unique walk up for Quang Min.
Giving the audience a little bow that time.
Yep.
Finding that grip on the barbell that is the same left and right.
$75 kilos for Min, and he gets 3 white lights.
We're off and rolling. We had a couple of, a couple of no lifts on the opening attempt, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed here for Lorinas to finish it off with another successful opener for the group.
Almost I almost wish we could get, oh, there's that smile of Koing-min that we love. Almost wish we could get a camera on top while he's doing the bench press to see him smiling. Gotta love that smile of Koing-min.
Amazing.
Laurynas Salas of Lithuania now makes his way up. He has a beautiful smile as well.
All these athletes.
Yes.
It's a reminder for me to smile too. They come out with a smile on their face. It's contagious.
Contagious smiling. We love contagious smiling. 90 kilos here for Laurynas Salas.
And that good measured grip. Nice. And you see he's got a wide grip on the bar. That also reduces the distance to lockout. Very good.
It's a good lift. The highest weight we saw of that first round of bench presses.
They're only going to get heavier. Again, we did have the first two competitors here to be unsuccessful, but not unsuccessful for any other reason than just slowing down and making sure we remember the cues and kind of switching gears from the last competition to this portion of the competition. And I have the utmost confidence in these athletes because they did it on the squat as well. Coming back out here, making a change, making a correction, and getting some successful attempts.
Samir Aminov will make his second bench press attempt now, native of Azerbaijan.
Oh, the body weights are posted.
There we
I've
go.
been sitting here the whole time. These body weights have been posted on the scoreboard as if I've never been to a weightlifting competition.
It's been nagging you this entire time. I can feel it right next to you.
Samir's got this lip, though. Like that. 3 white lights.
That's quite the bounce back for Samir Aminov.
Yeah. That's got to feel good.
He has such a great personality. Loves to sing and listen to music. This is another one of his favorite things to do. So passionate about lifting. Has siblings that he loves and always takes them home from kindergarten. Another one of his favorite things to do.
I love that so much. Hey, keeps bench pressing like that. It's not going to have any trouble. Very good. And the same here for Saguenay. She just waiting on that cue. This barbell is moving pretty well, though, for her today. Certainly strong enough here, 20 kilos.
Saguenay Asanova of the Kyrgyz Republic.
Yeah, it was just a little rushed. You saw that sort of a dramatic version of rushing. Because in the gym, sometimes you do get like some action off of the chest, you know what I mean, when you're pumping out reps and stuff like that. It's just the standards here in this competition are so particular that she's really gotta fight hard to control that. And she can. She's got another attempt.
15 years of age in her first Special Olympics World Games. I think we'll be seeing her for years to come.
15, I mean, just a baby.
Yep.
Just a baby.
It's a young contingent for the Kyrgyz Republic. Meanwhile, Roji Ali of China, speaking of young, she's just 16 years of age, has spent 4 years in Special Olympics.
I love how chill her vibe is. You know what I mean? Just coming out, waving to the crowd, saying, let me show you something here.
She loves to play origami.
Wow.
And
that's such a cool hobby.
Yeah, it really is a neat hobby. It kind of feeds into that chill aspect of her vibe. see what the judges do here. They give her 3 white lights.
Nice. I wanted to yell so badly into the microphone. I resisted. She pushed through that sticking point, just like the squat. Same thing in the bench press. You got to have confidence, and you can't give up. You can't give up. And it's going to feel like somebody is throwing weights on top. You know, how is suddenly this getting heavier? You got to hang in there. You got to push through, and that's exactly what she did on that lift.
The mind game within the lifts.
There's a little voice inside your head, Jason, that's trying to sabotage you every time.
Can't listen to that voice,
Can't
Cheryl.
listen to it.
We don't listen to that voice.
Nope.
Here comes Jung Ho An of Special Olympics Korea. "19 years old in his first Special Olympics World Games. This is his second attempt on the bench press, going up 10 kilos from his opening attempt.
Very nicely done.
Given 3 white lights. Again, you need 2 out of the 3 to be white in order for it to be a successful lift. You're taking the best lift weight of the 3 attempts for your squat, bench press, and deadlift. Now in the bench press portion of our afternoon session here on this Monday in Berlin.
Now here comes Yaritza, and one of the reasons I was being so annoying about the body weight.
You're never annoyed.
Earlier, I said there's no way she's more than 50 kilos, and of course she's about 46 kilos, which is so impressive relative to that squat, that 70 kilo squat, which is much more than her own body weight. And you can tell she's got some confidence with this bench press.
There's a jolt in her step and the smile there, a little nod.
Yep, 2 white lights, that's all we need. That center judge maybe thought she shifted or moved just a little bit, but none of the other judges caught it, and I'm glad because that looked good to me.
She's from Cuba. We got to watch her train behind the scenes yesterday with her coaches as these athletes went through their training day and did the weigh-in before the competition began to set up what we have is one flight of a total of 14 athletes today. Spiridon Stefas about to step up to the stage from Greece.
Real narrow grip there. You'll see a variety of grips out of these athletes too, depending on how they're built. Very good.
Went back up confidently with the bar that time. Talked about Greece and their presence in these games over the years. Greece was the host nation for the 2011 Special Olympics Summer World Games. Madeline Perez with a peace sign to this awesome crowd and to our cameras as she steps up here. Her next bench press attempt will be 30 kilos.
All right, good setup, good lockout. Yeah. Very good. Very good. I love these athletes. this round are coming out here, and they are just making these look so easy and so smooth. And just moving with a bit of confidence.
The smile on the face of Madeline Perez. See how spry she is, jumping up off the bench press into another successful attempt.
45 kilos, 99 pounds, just getting ready to crack 100 pounds here.
I love Madeline's peace signs up to the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Double peace sign as we all come together in this global inclusion event amongst so many nations, some vastly different, however, coming together for one common goal this week.
Yeah, without peace, we can't have fun.
That's true.
Can we? Ooh, we may see one red light. Oh no, I was very, very much hoping that one of the other judges gave a white light. I mean, that was an excellent lift, don't get me wrong. Just a little bit early off the chest and waiting for the press. Man. And the foot move, this angle, I saw it. Wasn't able quite to see it from where I'm sitting. So that's actually probably what it was there.
His first attempt was successful, Aziz Abdul Al-Balashi of Oman. So he'll certainly already have a successful score, just a matter of if he can build upon that when the third lift opportunity rolls around. In the second lifts here, in the second portion of our day, the bench press already went through the squat, deadlift on the horizon. Here's Tilek Ajibayev of the Kyrgyz Republic.
Push, push. He's got that left arm locked out. We might have had some foot movement or something like that too. And again, it's a little tricky to see sometimes from this angle because as long as the barbell doesn't move downward, then having a little bit of a delay on one side is okay.
Another look here for you.
Yeah, there's definitely some foot movement and stuff like that happening, but that's okay. Gonna get reset, give ourselves a couple reminders, because again, the weight is not too heavy here for Tilek. So not getting the first or second attempts, but again, come out here and handle that third attempt, no problem.
Dimitrios Kyriakos Andreopoulos of Greece. 75 kilos on the bar for Dimitrios Kyriakos.
165.25 pounds. And just to impress you further, Dimitrios weighs 58.2 kilos.
Won 2 gold medals and 2 silver as a powerlifter in the 2019 Summer World Games.
Wow.
He's back in Berlin in 2023, and there's 3 white lights for Dimitrios Kyriakos.
And wow is all I can say. I mean, truly, Dimitrios has been coming out here squatting and benching and just making weight move. And that was a good lift. Only at 58.2 kilos body weight for those back home. That's about 127 pounds, 128 pounds tops. So handling much more than his own body weight.
Going up to 80 kilos here will be Vishal Thirana Vukarasu of Special Olympics India.
Speaking of really good fonts, I like this font too.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Says his family has influenced him so much to participate in Special Olympics, and such a proud moment for him to be selected for these 2023 Summer World Games in Berlin.
80 kilos. It's 176 pounds.
Did it successfully.
Very good. I like to see all the white on the scoreboard. Just like that again, we're down to our 3 final competitors at the heavier end of the range here for the bench press on the 2nd attempt.
Mentioned we kind of go from lightest to heaviest as the progression rolls on. Guan Min has lifted some of the heaviest amounts we've seen so far today. And he's had one of the brightest smiles that you'll ever see.
Let's give a bow to my many fans. Great smile. It's the same weights on the barbell, 80 kilos.
Guan Min raising this up from the 75 kilos that he successfully lifted in his first attempt. And the 2nd attempt quite literally raises the bar. 3 white lights for Guan Min.
Very good. Very good. Ryan's going to take 80 kilograms as well, but there's a lot of green on the scoreboard too. Those successful lifts.
Here comes Ryan Stewart of Special Olympics New Zealand after the 29-hour journey here from his home country.
Yeah, that's a trip.
It makes our flights of about 8 hours from the States feel like a nap, like a quick nap.
It does. Makes you realize you shouldn't complain all that much.
Nope. He's so grateful to be here.
Ryan's got excellent technique. You see him arching his back in order to engage the whole body into this lift. Pushing through the legs. Drive. Oh, not quite. You can see the left side of the barbell just dipped down just enough so that the spotters had to go ahead and interfere. Just a little bit on that left side, yeah. I believe he can come out and make that 3rd attempt without any issue, though.
I certainly do, too. It went up to 80 kilos there from a successful 72.5 that we saw in his first attempt. Again, he'll still have that 3rd attempt coming up. Meanwhile, 3rd attempt, or beg your pardon, 2nd attempt here for Laurynas Solas of Lithuania. 95 kilos will be on the bar. Hasn't been bashful today, Laurynas, of what he's put on the bar in the squat and now the bench press.
Well, when you're that strong and impressive, you get used to it.
Mm-hmm. Becomes a commonality.
He has certainly been putting on a show for us, and looking forward to these final bench presses. Again, like you said, 95 kilos. We got more really good technique, too. Using the whole body to press this barbell up. All right. Hitting that crisp lockout at the end, leaving no doubt.
Gerald, there, did he battle through that slight pause, that sticking point, that mental sticking point?
Absolutely, and you can see here on this replay, though Ryan had much of the same issue, this barbell never moves down. It continually moves up. It can even stop as long as it doesn't move down. And overriding that voice is telling you to put it down.
Only voices of positivity here.
Well, I guess a measure of finishing the lift in the bench press is self-preservation. Putting it back down means putting it back down on top of yourself at some point. I like the fight. I like the spirit. That's what it's about. You can't let these weights push you around. And Saguenay is not going to do that. She's very capable of this. I believe in her.
Third attempt here for Sagana Yasanova of the Kyrgyz Republic.
Yeah, unfortunately not able to put all the elements there together for the bench press. I mean, we all have our Achilles heel, right? Probably just not as comfortable in this whole setup as maybe some of the other competitors. And again, 15 years old. This is a really overwhelming place to be. She had some good squats, though, and I expect to see some really good deadlifts. So,
yep, Sagana
is just shaking it off and switching gears.
Very true. She'll switch gears and know she'll be successful in the deadlift, as you noted there. Had success in the squat. One of our younger competitors in the field. Samir Aminov up next. I've loved watching his celebrations after successful lifts. Attempt number 3 here for Samir, raising it up to 20 kilos. Saw that sticking point that Cheryl noted. A rise there for Aminov, but he did have a successful lift out of his 3 of 15 kilos.
Yeah, just a bit on that right side.
So those are the 3 lifts now completed in the bench press for Samir. Kelsey is standing by.
Yeah, guys, I actually got to catch up with Samir and his coach after the first lift, the first squat that he did. And you mentioned the excitement that we were seeing, and that was part of the reason why I wanted to talk to them. So his coach said that they were very, very happy, so excited to see the success that he had here at the World Games in the squat. He said it's his first time in international competition. He said he wanted to send a message to his family back home, because you mentioned earlier he loves his siblings, always takes them home from kindergarten. He said he wanted to say hello to his mother and his siblings and tell them that he is very happy to be here and very proud.
Wow, that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thanks, Kelsey.
So great to hear. It, you know, when people have brothers and sisters that they love, I love my sisters more than anything else. It fills my heart with joy.
Our hearts are all full here in Berlin, watching these amazing, amazing stories take place. Just day 1 of powerlifting at the Messe.
She's got to get all the way down.
Rojia Lee.
Not quite. And what happened there, I think, is she didn't get quite to the chest, so the barbell has to make contact there. And by the time it did, I think maybe she wore herself out a little bit, kind of holding it and trying to feel it out. Because it gets heavy, it is sort of hard to feel sometimes. So not able to come up with that one. But very much successful the rest of the day. She's credited with that 25 kilos that she did a moment ago.
Yep, her first 2 lifts were successful lifts.
Now, so far, we haven't had anybody make a 3rd attempt, Jason, and I want Yaritza to be the one to change that right now. And I love the way she looks on the bench press. She's not hesitating. She knows it in and out. And hopefully we can see that one more time.
Yeah, there's been a jolt in her step in the bench press. Really bouncing back from not having a successful lift in the squat. But as you said, in this sport, you have to turn the page quickly, and she's done that. Quickly goes down and up there with 3 white lights again. So there it is, right for you, Cheryl. That 3rd attempt, successful.
Very, very good. Very good. And now the other competitors know it's possible. Sometimes psychologically you just need somebody to punch through that barrier, and she did that. And the determination again, the no quitting. Not able to come up with any squats, but you know what? I'm going to hit all my bench presses. I'm going to do some deadlifts. I'm going to be able to refocus and bring it home.
I think what you just said really embodies this event as a whole, knowing that anyone can do anything and you can punch right through the barriers.
Absolutely.
While Madeline Perez, her energy could run right through a barrier. (32.5 kilos here for Madeline of Venezuela.
Man, just losing it at the very, very end. The very, very end. She's a little bummed about that. You can see it's written all over her face. She's like, Coach, I had that. That's okay, it happens sometimes. She's gonna rechannel that strength. She's gonna put it right into the deadlift barbell. Hey, big things come in small packages. And she's one of the lightest competitors, if not the lightest competitor, one of them, at 40, let's see here, so I don't misquote, 46 kilos, nope, 46.88 kilos. A couple competitors at 46. I had to figure out which one was which. And that's very small. So 46 kilos, just for reference for y'all back home, we're just cracking 100 pounds. So these competitors who are 46 kilo range, I mean, they're 101, 102 pounds. Yeah, so relative to what they're able to handle here, I'm a super heavyweight, so blown away. Never really lifted too much more than my own body weight.
Spiridon Stefas is going to try 35 kilos. He was successful in his first two, so trying to follow up what Yuritsa Parado Fernandez did with all three being white lights. He's unable to do that here. Does get a no lift, but again, his first two were successful.
It's one of those situations as an athlete, you wish you had a fourth attempt because you know you can come out and make it, and it was maybe a silly mistake. He just loses balance there at the very, very end. But what an excellent performance so far today, and look at how much fun these athletes are having.
One of the happiest people you'll ever meet, Spiridon Stefas, races back to reset. Here comes Jung Ho An of Special Olympics Korea. Attempting 37.5 kilos. And his third attempt, first two were successful. Cranking it up about 7.5 kilos from his second attempt. 19-year-old from South Korea. How about that?
Very good. 3 for 3.
Abdulaziz Al-Balushi up next. They're putting the weight on for him. 47.5 kilos. A big one for him in the sense that how much he's cranking it up from the successful attempts he does have of 20 kilos. Second attempt was unsuccessful, but he's going to go for it here.
Yeah, and I don't believe at all it was because it was too heavy.
20-year-old who's had 2 years in Special Olympics.
Coach giving him cues, reminders to keep feet placed where they need to be placed, etc. I think he's got this. And he does, but not quite in the technical sense that we need it to be here today. You can see the smile on his face, though. I mean, that was successful all day long in the gym. That's definitely our PR, but not quite able to get the technical lights that he needed. I believe that the barbell never came in contact with his chest. a very, very small thing. So not for official results today, but good performance in the bench press overall.
Does one event, even though they're totally different from one another, you go from bench press to deadlift next, squat prior to that, mentality at all, confidence carry over from the prior to the latter?
It can, for sure, and disappointment as well. That's why it's important to kind of just remember your training and stay focused and, you know, not get too hyped up even if you did really well in the former lifts.
Tilek Ajilayev.
We'll see what the judges say. He did make contact with the chest and went for the cue with the press. And sometimes I can see exactly what goes wrong, and sometimes I can't. And I did see a blue light. So the blue light, the barbell can move downward, or the elbows like don't lock out all the way. So there may have been some of that in there, especially for the center judge who has a good elbow angle. But regardless, that was a really, really good try.
Those other color lights that Cheryl mentioned are essentially delving into the specificities of why a lift was ruled a no lift.
It's very informative for coaches and athletes both.
Stepping up to the bench press now will be the man who's had 2 successful lifts so far, Dimitrios Kyriakos Andriopoulos of Greece.
77.5 kilos, 170 3/4 pounds.
Kwang Min is on deck to try 82.5.
There is no try, Jason. Oh, not able to punch through that sticking point. But remember what I said before, Jason, I want that to be the failure, right? Maybe we finally do get to a point where it's a little heavy. That might have been a little heavy today. Just barely a little heavy. But that's the only miss that we've had so far out of Dimitrios.
You like to see him going for the gold.
Oh, yeah.
Kwang Min is certainly putting a gold medal case together so far in terms of what we've seen from him. His walk-up alone just builds your anticipation of what he's going to do next. 82.5 kilos is what he'll try on this 3rd bench press attempt.
Pushing through.
Got through that sticking point and gets 3 white lights, 82.5 kilos.
Outstanding. What a fight, and what a triumph.
Kelsey is ready with more.
Huge smiles over on the side as he comes off, and his coaches and his fans. Great to see the success that he's had. And guys, one of the things that I love from the fun facts that we got from them, he says, yes, I like to lift weights, but guess what? He's got to be every parent's dream, because he says he also likes to do some housework at home. So he's getting it done in the gym, and then he's going to come back and get it done at home too. I love that.
Wow.
That is great. Well-rounded 22-year-old. Now Ryan Stewart of New Zealand. 82.5 here. Kilos on the bar for Stewart.
Man. Talk about fight. And we are, you can tell he's really, really pushing up against some heavy numbers and really doing battle with himself and maybe some personal bests here. And that's some good fight.
It's been right on the border for Ryan Stewart over those last couple attempts. He did have a successful first attempt, as we see it again.
Yeah, and you can see the delay, and everybody has an imbalance left to right. It's very hard to, as human beings, to be perfectly symmetrical. We just aren't built that way. It's my left side as well, I imagine, that would fail on a bench press. But that was an excellent try, and we're going to see some amazing things out of Ryan in the deadlift.
All of Ryan Stewart's New Zealand teammates are in attendance for powerlifting. Meanwhile, Special Olympics, India's Vishal Thirana Vukarasu. The 20-year-old will come up to try to attempt 85 kilos. Was successful on his first 2 attempts today.
Drive through.
Battled through it.
That was a good lift. Really, really good. 85 kilos. Vishal only weighs 55 kilos. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Like really good form. So even though Vishal is pushing through the sticking point, the barbell's still not moving, like side to side, front to back. A lot of good practice, a lot of good, I mean, there are other things these athletes do besides bench press, squat, and deadlift, and good stability. Do you know what I mean? Good overall awareness and athleticism from Vishal. I'm very proud of that.
Same with the legs and the feet as well.
Absolutely.
Staying fundamentally sound and still. Well, first time we've seen the century mark in terms of kilos attempted here. Lorena Solis, 100 kilos. Wow. 3 white lights. A well-deserved smile on his face.
Incredible. You can see the back arch, the feet driving through, all the energy transferring to the upper body and pushing through. 220 pounds for an easy conversion of 100 kilos for everybody. And look at there on the replay, just not giving up on it, pushing through. Very happy with that, and he should be.
That was amazing. And what a way to wrap up the bench press with 100 kilos on the bar for Lorena Solis, the 24-year-old Lithuanian.
Phenomenal. Really
Fans will now get reset a little here before the deadlift in our lone afternoon session of the day at the Mesa on day 1 of powerlifting. Shirley, your takeaways from what was a very impressive and energetic bench press session. I just love how you see the momentum develop as the discipline goes on.
Yeah, I agree. We did see some of a similar start, you know, cues and things like that, but once these athletes got out here and got a feel for the stage, they did really, really well, and I think you're right. We're finally seeing, or not finally, you know, we had a lot of good confident squatters, but we had a lot of those athletes who maybe didn't do well in the squat or maybe were a little overly nervous come out here and just settle in and be more comfortable. And that allows these athletes to really lift as much weight as they can. And just a little bit about the equipment. The barbell weighs 20 kilos. Just so you guys know, in those small collars, they slide on the outside. Those guys are about 2.5 kilos. So if you all at home are trying to count the plates up on the bar, then that'll help to know how much those weigh. The deadlift is the king of the lifts. We're gonna see some big weights, especially pound for pound.
A look at some of the reactions and faces from around that bench press portion. It was energetic, just like our squat portion. Just amazing stuff at the end.
I get the powerlifting.
It's my life. It's a passion. There's no turning back. It's blood, sweat, and tears.
I feel my muscles stronger. I can feel it.
I strong as Superman.
Thanks, Kelsey. Thanks, Vijal. Well, our Special Olympics World Games Berlin 2023 coverage will continue all week throughout June 24th on ESPN Plus and ESPN3. We'll have you covered from the Mesa. Multiple sessions moving forward. We'll have morning and afternoon sessions today, just the afternoon sessions. One of the bright, effervescent personalities of United States powerlifting is Charlie Phillips, and Kelsey caught up with him earlier.
All right, I am here now with Charlie Phillips from Special Olympics USA, who indeed is a legend. He just talked to Tim Tebow a little while ago. Tim told him a legend. That's right, Charlie. How are you feeling being in this building and seeing the first day of the competition?
It felt pretty good, but it kind of sucks because I really want to compete, and seeing all the other countries competing, that's pretty cool. And watching other athletes compete, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you've got to wait until Friday to compete. I know you're going to be counting down the days. What do you do leading up to it to make sure that you're ready?
So I'm just resting my body, eating the right foods, so I don't have to be so I don't have to bump up to another weight class, and just focus. And when my time comes, I'll be ready.
I love that. You're very disciplined because there's a lot of good food here that I want to eat. Yeah. And so you're going to be able to enjoy some of that after Friday. This is your first World Games. Charlie, what does it feel like to be here in Berlin?
It felt amazing because when I started Switzerland 10 years ago, I said to my family, one day I'm going to the World Games. And then this year, they just announced it, and my dream came true. And I can't believe in a couple days, I'm going to be representing our country on the platform behind us, and I just can't wait.
I cannot wait to see you. Your energy is so fun. You have worked so hard for this moment, Charlie. Before I let you go, what do you want people who are watching to know about you and what it took for you to get here? Go ahead.
It took me a lot of hard work. It took me, ever since I started Special Bit, ever since I started walking, I definitely beat the odds, and I just motivate people, and my dream has come true, and I just can't wait. And here's the thing, here's the quote: never stop a hard work, and if you put the time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into the stuff that you love the most, you will get to achieve your dreams. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. And the matter is having fun, work hard, and be yourself. It doesn't matter who's stopping you. Don't listen to them. Do not listen to them. Listen to your body. Listen to yourself. And you will do the best that you can. And go Special Olympics USA. I compete Friday. Watch out.
We're gonna be. You want to hold it for me now?
Yes.
I'm never supposed to give up the microphone, but Charlie, I had to give it up to you because you were that good. Congratulations on getting here. I can't wait to see you Friday. Hopefully, I'll be standing here interviewing you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Go Bulls.
That is wonderful. Gotta love Charlie Phillips and his bright personality. We'll get to see him on display at the Mesa this week. One of the 9 United States powerlifters that'll be on display here at the Mesa. Cheryl, my favorite Charlie Phillips quote, "Don't stop until your hard work pays off." He's an embodiment of that. There's an interview out there that I highly recommend going to find. He actually found out that he was going to make the 2023 World Games here in Berlin on live television, had this very emotional, genuine reaction, and it really, I thought, kind of encapsulated the genuine emotion that we all feel about this particular event.
Absolutely, and his perspective is 100% on point. This is about challenging yourself. It's between you and the barbell, right? And this is a journey, like, I never got as strong as I ever was until 15 years into it. I mean, you can't. It takes time, right? In layering strength upon strength upon strength. And he says, you can't let other people tell you you can't. It's about competing against yourself and pushing further and further than you ever thought that you could go. And that's exactly what happens with that kind of persistency. Weightlifters and people in, well, really any other sport, but strength sports especially, it's about longevity. It's about finding the joy in what you're doing and wanting to get back after it over and over and over again. And that's wonderful advice for anybody who's listening who lifts weights at all, is that right there.
I love that answer. I mean, this is an event as a whole, the Special Olympics here in Berlin, that pushes the boundaries of where people think these athletes can go, and continuously changing that mindset and reaching new horizons that are higher and higher and higher. Charlie Phillips is certainly a prime example of just that. We're going to take a breather for about 5 minutes here at the Mesa. We've gone through the squat and the bench press. The deadlift is on the horizon, the third and final portion of this afternoon session in Germany's largest city. Welcome back inside the Mesa. It's a party, as it has been all afternoon long on day one of powerlifting here in Berlin.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did you say something, Jason? I was dancing.
We had our dance party on camera earlier. I feel like we need to join in another one here. This is like more of a singing party that's going on right now.
It'll give me a chance to redeem myself for my 1960s and 90s moves.
You'll have multiple chances all week to redeem yourself. We'll be here tomorrow, again, Wednesday, Thursday,
It's true.
Friday. Yep.
You know what I'm doing in the mirror later tonight?
Practicing?
Dancing moves.
Dancing. I thought you were going to say singing,
Oh,
which
well,
is
maybe
also
that
another
too.
thing in the mirror. Yeah. We can blend both.
Karaoke is my jam, though. It is.
Just like we'll blend and combine the scores at the ends here when we do wrap up. We're heading to the deadlift portion of our day now. We've already had the squat and the bench press. So after the deadlift, we'll combine those scores. We're taking the best scores from each of the competitors' 3 lifts. Cheryl Hayworth, Jason Ross Jr., and Kelsey Riggs is also with us, reporting all week long, and she has more.
Guys, that's right. I was just over by you. First of all, I want to say that the dance cam was really great. I didn't see you guys dancing during the dance cam, though, so I'm hoping in the next musical break that we get to see some of those dance moves. But I got to see them from a lot of the athletes, and I actually was sitting not too far off from where you guys were, and I was talking with some of the representatives that are here from China and just getting their perspective. There are 2 athletes from China that are competing right now today. They have 8 total that are competing in powerlifting, and so they are watching their teammates on the big stage today and waiting for their turn. And I asked some of the staff there what it feels like, and they just said it has been so impactful, that they're really proud of both of the athletes that they've watched today. They've been really successful already, and they said that they can't wait to see how the rest of the week goes for the athletes that are watching right now. So they're out there enjoying it. I know you guys are as well. If you have a couple little dance moves you want to show me on the way, then that would be really good. Cheryl, I know you got something ready, Cheryl.
Oh, you mean the cabbage
We can
patch?
practice the cabbage
Makes
patch.
me feel like I'm in middle school. Jason's got some moves, too.
I got a little moves. I'm learning from Cheryl here, as always. Learning from both of you guys. This is awesome. Well, my favorite moment so far, Huang Min's smile, we mentioned China there, has been so bright, so effervescent all day. Rio Jia Li as well of China. They've both been so fun to watch. So cool to get the report from Kelsey there and get our dance moves in.
That's right. Had to warm up somehow. And just like that, I mean, they're ready to roll. This is the final portion of the competition. The deadlift, you know, the mentality here, Jason, is kind of a grip it and rip it. If you have any more energy left in your body, we're going to use it for the deadlift right now.
Sagane Asanova of the Kyrgyz Republic, her first deadlift attempt.
Smashes it.
3 white lights for Sagane Asanova. She bounces back from the bench press portion, and we've seen certain athletes, of course, as you know it, Cheryl, each discipline, you may have your strengths and your weaknesses, but all about the mindset of putting each rep in the rearview mirror and looking forward to the next one, and we see Sagane do that there brilliantly.
Right. Right. Even when you have success, you know, I tell my athletes, celebrate for a minute or 2, hug all your people, but then forget it even happened, because we got other business we got to handle. And these athletes oftentimes are experienced. So we've been seeing a lot of good focus, a lot of good confidence. Even if a mistake is made, good responses and making those corrections. So that's what we can expect to see here on the deadlift as well, and some heavy weight, especially relative to these folks' body weight.
Aziz Abdul Al-Balushi of Oman. Here, his first deadlift attempt. 40 kilos. Three white lights.
Very good, and very minimally, the athletes are gripping the bar where they traditionally grip the bar. That's usually going to be about shoulder width. And all that athlete has to do is stand all the way up with the bar and straighten out. So you can't still be hinging or leaning or anything like that. Athlete's body needs to be totally erect. And also the weight, is just like in the bench press and in the squat, the barbell can't move down again. And that's really it. But again, grip it and rip it. This is if, you know, talk about leaving everything out on the platform. This is where that happens.
The bar not moving back down has been one of the key components. Kind of that mental pause that you have to push through to not let it happen.
Good. And also waiting for the down signal, of course.
Spiridon Stefas with 3 white lights on a 40-kilo attempt for his first deadlift.
Very good.
Each celebration for Spiridon has been more and more exuberant.
Hey, the time on stage is coming to a close. Get all the celebrating, all the attention you can. That's what I like about competing. It's time to show off all that hard work in the gym. Let's show everybody how strong we are. I love that they're taking their moment on the stage. It's very important. And you'll notice these boxes too. Now these boxes are to approximate where a full-sized plate would be on the bar, because that actually changes the height where the lifter begins pushing. So it's really, really important to kind of approximate that for the athletes who are a little bit shorter and maybe not lifting as much weight that requires that full-size plate.
Rogia Lee, the 16-year-old that Kelsey just talked about. Wang Min, the other Chinese lifter in this day 1 afternoon session. Lee confident there for 3 white lights on 50 kilos. Highest amount we've seen so far of these initial rounds of the deadlifts. Kelsey with more.
Well, guys, you could probably hear through our microphones the crowd that was here cheering for China. We're all sitting right near them and really proud to see their teammate come out here now and complete that successful deadlift. I love the energy from the teammates and then also all of the others in the room. Just a great environment.
Thanks, Kels. Speaking of more energy, Madeline Perez, who Kelsey also spoke to earlier today, will step up for her first deadlift attempt.
Utilizing a sumo stance. I'll explain more about that in a minute.
A wider look to it.
See that final, oh, and a dab. I love it. That final lockout at the end is what she needed to get the down signal from the judge.
That's awesome. I love the hugs between her and her coach at the end of each lift as well. Here's another look at the lift.
Now she's using a mixed grip. One hand is supinated and one is pronated. That helps keep the bar from rolling out of your hand. So a good strategy, and you will see that mixed grip on a lot of these deadlifts, probably the majority actually. And she's doing what's called a sumo style deadlift. Some people really, really prefer that. Others prefer traditional deadlift. And it can be a little bit controversial, but that's going into splitting some hairs. But I like sumo style. There's transfers into Olympic style weightlifting a lot. I have my athletes utilize the stance on occasion. Anyway, it's a good accessory exercise for anybody in the gym.
Tilak Aibayev of the Kyrgyz Republic up next. I love dipping into the polarizing conversations between different techniques.
Hey, it can get, you know, weightlifters have their, they can be particular.
First round of attempts for the deadlifts. All we've seen so far has been white lights.
Very good. Yeah, deadlifts usually go by pretty quickly too because it's pretty straightforward, right? It's very, very simple in a lot of ways. These athletes know what's required of them. They're not having to wait for as many signals, or they just have a a certain amount of time during which they need to approach the barbell. And as long as that time doesn't elapse, they can kind of proceed as they feel comfortable. And you can tell they feel comfortable because we're cruising right along.
The 2023 Special Olympics Summer World Games here in Berlin at the Messe. 133 powerlifters that we'll see throughout the week. One of them is Dimitrios Kyriakos Andriopoulos of Greece. He's been very impressive today, setting up for his first deadlift and doing it with a smile on his face.
All right, we got Samir, 65 kilos. Tell you how much, 143.25 pounds.
Samir Aminov. $65 kilos for Samir. 3 white lights on the board.
Very, very good. You see a slight shift to the toe, finishing out that lift because he locked out so hard with such authority. But that's still within, you know, good lift limitations for sure. Looking strong there in that move. Samir only weighs 50 kilos. He's only about 110 pounds.
Now stepping up of Cuba, Yaritza Parado Fernandez, 26-year-old. Was asked what advice you would give to her fellow athletes. Said always be disciplined, train daily, be a team, and respect your coaches. Live up to the Special Olympics motto.
Wow, that's easy.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, Jason, but I was just I was just blown away a little bit. And I didn't mention the mixed grip, but she has a double overhand grip. And this is the same grip somebody would use to clean the barbell, which means taking it from the floor to the chest. And she uses that grip really, really well. She came up, she grabbed hold of the bar, and that was good form, good start position, and a nice deadlift.
Great stuff from Yaritza Parado Fernandez of Cuba, who really, since that opening portion of our afternoon with the squat, where she wasn't able to get a successful attempt, has put that in the rearview mirror and come back with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, making all 3 bench presses, too.
Yeah.
Very, very easily.
Was the first one who we saw make all 3 bench presses. And now hoping to do that in the deadlift. Jung Ho An of Special Olympics Korea.
242.5 pounds. Already 242.5 pounds. And this is the first round. These are opening attempts. Looking forward to the big weights being pulled here. All these competitors are doing very, very well. Again, foot placement, hand placement, critical. If you're off by an inch or a half an inch on one side, that one side's going to feel more weight than the other side.
$110 kilos. And
Very good.
Made it look pretty easy.
Yep. Good start position, and you can tell these athletes get locked into a really nice, confident start position so that they can drive through the legs there. A lot of this is leg drive too, especially at the end. Keeping the barbell very close to your body too. You don't want any space to happen between the barbell and those legs and those thighs as it comes up.
We have a 135 kilo attempt on the horizon here.
Quickly approaching 300-pound mark.
It'll take a little more time to get the weight on the bar now.
Yeah, and the loading of the bar, you know, the loaders do more work than anybody, I think. By the time it's all said and done, they've accumulatively lifted more kilos than everybody else. It's a tough job. I've done it before.
Shout out to the loaders.
Shout out.
All the volunteers. There are 18,000 volunteers helping to put on the 2023 Special Olympics Summer World Games here in Berlin, 9,000 of which are from different countries outside of Germany. Just incredible. We show the Rana Vukarasu of Special Olympics India.
Wide stance, presumably sumo, yep. And a lot of good control that we've been seeing out of Vishal today, very much reflected in that deadlift.
Vishal loves to sing in his dialects and loves dancing, as we have could probably learn a thing or two from the dancing side of Vishal's many talents.
That's what we need to do, is practice with some of these athletes, because they got the moves.
They certainly do. Ryan Stewart, meanwhile, taking some deep breaths as he gets set to approach.
Looks like he's going to do the same weight, maybe try to make it a little bit easier. We've been seeing good technique from Ryan all day. Looking forward to seeing more good technique in what he chooses, what style he chooses to do this deadlift. And it looks traditional. He also looks like he's chosen to shed his shoes as well.
135.
Very good. Flawless. Flawless. And I mentioned he's not wearing shoes.
Why is that?
And that's totally fine because, you know, remember I said like a running shoe is a little squishy. He knows that all the power that he is pushing through his legs and into that platform is not being leaked out anywhere by a squishy shoe. Any give, any roll of the ankle, like anything at all. So hard contact with a bare foot against a platform is one of the best ways to do a heavy deadlift. Incredible. Or a very, very flat shoe. Like I know a Converse shoes, stuff like that. They're really popular in powerlifting.
We're in one of the flattest countries.
The shoes that Dimitrios have on right now, or has on right now. And I talked all the way through his setup too. I should have known better because he's out here just taking care of business as well. That was an awesome, awesome deadlift at an even heavier weight. Making 140 kilos look as if they've taken weight off the bar, 308 pounds. But yeah, anyhow, Dimitrios has on the shoes that I was sort of talking about. They're very popular in powerlifting circles for that very reason. It's, you have shoes on, but it's kind of like being barefoot too.
We're starting to see that momentum that has caught on with each of the different disciplines, squat, bench press, and now deadlift. Really starts to roll in. It seems like Lorena Salas is, with each lift, moving quicker and quicker up to the bar. Here's his
330.5 pounds.
150 kilos. That was quick. Sure.
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No,
with that.
no,
it's so
he's
heavy
moving
now. I feel like I have to tell everybody that it's because kilos, you know, especially for a lot of Americans, I was indoctrinated early with the kilogram when I started my weightlifting career, but it's easy to lose track of exactly, you know, how heavy it's getting.
You now prefer kilos over pounds.
I do. They make a little bit more sense to me at this point. I'm kind of an old lady as it goes these days.
Another one of our polarizing conversations.
Right, of many. I got them all. They're loading up 160 kilos here for our final deadlifter of this first round.
It hasn't been a polarizing conversation when it comes to the success of Quang Minh so far today. I mean, he has been marvelous in each of the first two disciplines, and now on to his first deadlift attempt, putting 160 kilos on the bar.
Just to talk more about footwear, this is a traditional powerlifting pair of shoes that he has on. Dropping the bar a little bit too soon, but we know it's not too heavy, right?
Right.
It's not too heavy. We just gotta wait. Oh, well, there was a down signal. Maybe guiding the bar down and not dropping it.
So just that slim detail at the end.
Yeah, and I missed that. I'm going back and forth between the monitor and the screen there. And that makes sense now because it was such an easy deadlift. So we expect to add more weight
to ramp it up next time, yep.
And that being said, I'm taking all that weight off the bar. We're going to start again. These athletes are going heavier each time. And that was the only failure actually we had, and it was just a little technical thing.
On the heaviest amount that we saw, really it was lifted. It was just the technical detail at the end that you mentioned, Cheryl, and that did lead to the no lift for Wang Min. But now second time through the order begins Sagane Asanova of the Kyrgyz Republic.
Sumo stance. Down signal following the bar down. And that's really just to save the equipment and the platform and et cetera, et cetera. If I was in the gym and I had my rubber plates or my bumper plates on the bar, I'd stand up and drop it too. You know, so it's one of those things, it's a good habit to get into or a bad habit. A good bad habit to get into. Just remember competition, just kind of following the bar down. So you don't break the stage. Other people have to lift on the stage.
That brings up an interesting component of the sport, that it is so important to know those details so then when you're practicing, you aren't creating potentially bad habits.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is one of those things to look out for as a coach because you know the standards that are going to be applied to your athlete later. So, you know, sort of tailoring workouts in that way or fashioning them in such a way that makes them more successful when competition comes around.
Spiridon Stefas of Greece. His mom in attendance. Said she couldn't put into words just how proud she truly is. Amazing watching her son compete today. 3 white lights for Spiridon Stefas.
They're looking very good.
I think the crowd is anticipating being a part of his celebrations at this point.
Yes. My only regret is I can't hoop and holler with everybody. I don't think folks back home would appreciate it too much.
We could get on talkback and then just kind of take our headsets off, enjoy be a part of the celebration.
Swing the headset around.
Right. Something like that. We'll figure it out by tomorrow.
We'll come up with some kind of routine.
Join us for 2 more sessions tomorrow.
60 kilograms has been loaded. 132 and a quarter pounds.
Roya Li of Special Olympics China. A 16-year-old with a very bright future ahead. Of the 8 powerlifters for China that we'll see this week, 7 are 22 or younger.
Very good. Finally reaching that full lockout at the very end, and you'll see as the weights get heavier, it does become a big part of the challenge is the very end, standing completely so that you're standing almost soldier-like, you know, straight up and down. She was able to lock it out there.
I love the constant smile on the face of Roya Li. She just loves this sport. That was another successful lift for her. Meanwhile, Tilek Ajibayev of the Kyrgyz Republic will take the stage next on this second trip through the order of our deadlifts. The third of 3 different lifts today. We have the squat first and the bench press, now the deadlifts. Take the 3 best scores from each of the athletes and then combine them for the total score. That was 60 kilos.
Very easily handled, must say. And just for reference too, we will see different kinds of jumps. So in the squat and the deadlift, we'll see bigger jumps in between first, second, and third attempts. Because the athletes can simply handle more weight. Whereas in the bench press, you don't want to necessarily add 20 pounds to the barbell at a time. But on the deadlift, on the squat, we can kind of get away with that a little bit.
This is a 20-kilo jump here. Ral Belushi of Oman. Went from 40 to 60 kilos and got the 2 out of the 3 white lights that he needed.
Yeah, I was worried maybe one of the side judges was going to maybe think that he wasn't standing straight up. It looked a little bit different than the one before, but minutely. It looked good to me, though.
Oman's delegation left their home country for Oberhausen, Germany on June 12th and engaged in some really cool programs. And it was just neat to see all the different delegations arrive and be welcomed here.
It is. That opening ceremony looked like a wild party, and that's definitely, you know, when I look back on my career, moments like that really are the ones that stick out in my mind the most.
Mohammed Salim Al-Rashdi, the chairman of the board of directors for Special Olympics Oman, talked about the high-intensity training that his athletes underwent before arriving here. Madeline Perez now, Venezuela.
All right.
70 kilos, strong performance.
70 kilos, again, one of our folks with a 46.8 kilo body weight. So we're approaching, you know.
There's Kelsey available.
Guys, I know that we have talked a lot about Madeline throughout the day, and in case anybody's just joining us, her energy is so contagious. She's got such a special bond with her coach, who said he really feels like she's her daughter, even though he's not. But I don't know if your cameras, the one that you saw, are not caught. As she came out, she's feeling this crowd. She blew a kiss at the camera as she walked out, so she knew that that was her moment, and I love seeing her really feel so comfortable and shine on this big stage.
There's been a hug with her coach after each and every lift, no matter the result. Thanks for that, Kelsey. Cool stuff. Samir Aminov now of Azerbaijan. Second deadlift attempt, 72.5 kilos.
We could see, I think, what Samir's bread and butter is. Maybe back at home in the gym, he's the deadlift king. He's coming out here. These are automatic. These are automatic, and that's what we want to see. Struggling a little bit with the cues on some of, and the bench press. Maybe one got a little bit heavy for that right side, but these deadlifts, man, putting them away. Very good.
Collective confidence in the deadlift right now. Here it's Prado Fernandez of Cuba is on deck here. Up next.
Wow.
26-year-old raises it up to 80 kilos and gets 3 white lights pretty easy.
Yeah, very good. Weighing 46.53 kilos. She's approaching double body weight very quickly. And that's a good deadlift.
Her Cuban teammates in the stands. Here at the Mesa, home of a lot of different sports for these Special Olympics World Games. Judo is taking place next door to us. Meanwhile, Jengho An of Special Olympics Korea make his way back up to the stage here. 120 kilos is what he'll attempt.
264.5 pounds. some powerlifting shoes on here. The powerlifting shoe, you'll notice, has a little bit of a heel to it, a slight raise in the heel, even though the bottoms are very, very firm. And that's to assist with squatting. Push, push, push.
Powered through. And earned it.
Yep, powered through and was rewarded. Very good.
In our second trip again through this order in the deadlifts, 3 attempts in the final portion of this afternoon session. Vishal Vukarasu of Special Olympics India is waiting patiently as they put 145 kilos on the bar.
You see good control and a good rhythm all day out of Vishal. Every single lift, he approaches the bar the same way and seems pretty much in control. I expect the same thing out of this deadlift. 135 was pretty easy, so 145, very reasonable. Sumo style deadlift.
That's such a disciplined aura. That discipline pays off again with 3 white lights and 145 kilos. Kelsey is ready with more.
Well, guys, I actually got to catch up with him after his last round when he did the bench press, and he had 85 kilos, which his coach said he had done before, but they were so proud of his performance here today. There is quite a crowd of people here from India also representing him, 8 power lifters altogether, so he is just one of the 8. They're standing by really proud. But his coaches said for him to get to this point is something that he worked really, really hard for. He also said in the fun facts that he gave us, guys, he loves to dance. He also likes to sing in his dialect. I didn't get him to sing, but maybe that's a goal for later.
He could teach us a thing or two.
I would love that, actually.
Ryan Stewart, 145 kilos. Successful.
I love these white lights. I love them. Very, very good from a pro. Keeping those arms nice and long. These weights are too heavy for any arm assistance. So it's really important to fight the urge to want to bend them or manipulate them in any way. And you can tell Ryan knows that because of experience. So that good form is really paying off.
Here comes Dimitrios Kyriakos Andriopoulos of Greece, 150 kilos.
330 pounds.
Up 10 kilos from his first attempt. Yep, 3 more white lights.
And you know, Dimitrios and Vishal are kind of giving me the same vibe. Very measured, very controlled.
Yeah.
You know, it's like another day in the gym. But that's good. That's good. It works for them, and there's a good flow to it.
Just like yourself, Cheryl. He's a big gamer away from powerlifting.
Gonna have to talk game and get somebody to translate.
Yes.
How do you say, are you playing the new Legend of Zelda in Greece?
That's something we'll try to find out by tomorrow.
Did you get the new game? That's what I want to talk to you about.
Yes.
And by the way, excellent weightlifting.
Here comes Kwang Min, trying to continue his incredibly impressive afternoon. Love that smile as he walks to the bar. "22 years old, such an incredibly mature mindset."
That's it. And that so delicately putting the bar back on the platform as to not get red lighted again.
The adjustment from the first time around is what Cheryl's referencing.
I'm not getting called for that again, so couldn't even hear the bar be replaced. I love it. What a great lift.
Love the fist bumps that Kwang Min gives everyone when he walks off the stage as well. He's enjoying the fist bumps this time after a really good adjustment from his first one that was ruled unsuccessful.
Larinas decided to up the ante here a little bit.
Saulus Larinas of Lithuania, 162.5 kilos on the bar.
Larinas only weighs 57.8 kilos. Wow.
Followed in the footsteps of Kwang Min there with the gentle setting down of the bar after a very heavy lift that was successful.
Very good. And so far, we've only got one failure. This is blowing my mind. I love it so much. I want to see everybody be successful with this third and final lift of the day.
And even the lone failure, it was the resilience and very quick adjustment. Kwang Min to bounce back and put up 160 kilos in his second attempt. So we now venture into the third and final trip through this order on the deadlift.
Our poor loaders here have to now take apart the bar that they've loaded up. And the guy right there in the middle, Chris, giving him a shout out.
Shout out to the loaders and all the volunteers at the 2023
Right.
Special Olympics Berlin Games, 18,000 total. Kelsey has more.
Guys, we just saw Lorena Salas come off, and you guys were mentioning what it's like to see the smile on his face. I stand over here on that side. He high-fived every single person on the way back, and when he got behind the curtain, he threw his hands up in the air in celebration, and all the volunteers here giving him high fives. So I'm really excited. As you mentioned, it was 162.5 kilograms last time, up from 150. Cheryl, I can't wait to see what he does. I'm curious what you think.
You know what? Based on the way that looked, you could probably put 15, 20 more kilos on the bar and he'll be able to do it. I'm very, very impressed, and I'm with you, Kelsey. I can't wait to see what these folks do on this third round. Thank you for that. And it is, we are having to use our imaginations right now for what's happening behind the curtain, but fortunately we do have Kelsey able to peek back and forth.
Yeah, he and Kwang Min, they followed each other up and had just what looked like relatively easy deadlift attempts in their second time through. So those are definitely two names to keep an eye on in this third trip through the order now in the deadlifts.
And Saguenay obviously coming out here and crushing 40 kilos
Yes.
to get the whole group started on some more successful attempts.
Set the bar high. Spirit on Stefas. I think the fans at this point are just waiting for his celebration so they can be a part of it. They have loved that aspect of his lifts. $55 kilos. Heard the emotion and energy pour out with his mom watching.
I didn't catch what that other light might be for, but once he picked it up, I kind of just took it as a foregone conclusion.
He did get the 2 out of the 3 white lights needed for a successful lift.
That's all that matters. 2 out of 3. I thought it was a good lift as well. Very nice, making all 3 deadlifts. What a great day.
Loved seeing his arms go up as well as he ran backstage, similar to Larinas.
And every once in a while, we are hearing like a weird little buzzer. I just want to explain to the audience that all that means is that 30 seconds has elapsed on the time clock. So that gives an athlete an indication, athlete and a coach, that you have 30 seconds left to go ahead and complete the lift.
And a minute total.
Initiate the lift.
Initiate.
Yeah, not complete, initiate.
70 kilos here for Willie Ali.
Push, push.
Trying to battle through.
I think she got it.
Awesome.
Yes.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3, that's all that matters. inching the bar up the thigh and just not giving up on it, and letting those hips open up all the way. Incredible. And that was 70 kilos, by the way. She's only weighing 46.3 kilos. Yeah, that's good. It's pretty good.
Right there, Cheryl, on that replay. I love hearing this very global crowd come together and urge her on. And she hit, as you mentioned, what could be like that mental pause, but then just battled through it.
Yep. Heavy is not intimidating to her.
Tilek Ajibayev now. In the Kyrgyz Republic, his third and final deadlift attempt, 70 kilos. Was successful on his first two.
Excellent job. Excellent job.
3 for 3 in the deadlifts. Aziz Abdullah Al-Balushi up next from Special Olympics Oman. Mentioned the efforts of Special Olympics Oman and all the training that their athletes went through prior to getting here. They also took part in the host town program when they arrived first thing here in Germany on June 12th. And there's a program that aimed to spotlight the integration of individuals with intellectual disabilities within society. So many different initiatives for the different countries to take part in. Now again, it'll be the final deadlifts for Abdulaziz Al-Balushi of Oman, 75 kilos. This is up 15 from the 60 he lifted in his second attempt. Three white lights.
That's another beautiful deadlift. Taking some big jumps here, but making short work of it. And what a great day going 3 for 3 as well. $80 kilos is now being loaded up. It's gonna be about 176 3/4 pounds. All right, let's see what Samir can do. First two were brilliantly executed.
Samir Aminov, Azerbaijan. He looked very clean in this deadlift portion of our day.
Looking very, very strong. Very strong.
80 kilos, and he's amped up after it for good reason.
Fantastic.
Heard the yell he let out to battle through in the middle of pulling up. Here it is again, right there.
The replay's great. I love it.
I love him too.
Outstanding.
He's one of 49 delegates from Azerbaijan. He says that he's learned so much in Special Olympics. Here comes Madeline Perez, who's been a joy to watch all day. Here's some of the Venezuelan crowd motivating her on.
She's got a strong start stance. Wow.
Another hug and a jump into a hug with her coach, as we saw in her first lift of the day way back in the squat. Been a hug after each and every lift today between her and her coach. That was another successful lift for Madeline Perez of Venezuela.
80 kilos at 46.88 body weight. She looks like she could be the center in a starting lineup for an NFL team with that start position that she has. Absolutely powerful, so strong, and that's demonstrated there by how much she could pick up off the floor.
Yaritza Prado Fernandez of Cuba is next up. She was 22 years old at the time of the 2019 Summer World Games. Now back for another in Berlin.
Just a few pounds shy of double body weight.
My
kilos. Goodness.
Yep.
I do believe she could deadlift a little bit more than that. What do you think, Jason?
It looks like it. I wouldn't bet against that.
Leaving some in the tank, making that look so easy. Just no hesitation at all. The bar doesn't stop anywhere. She doesn't stop. It's like somebody shut off gravity for a second. Somebody leaned up against the wall and hit the switch. That was outstanding. 125 is being loaded. 125 kilos is 275.5 pounds.
We're breaking all sorts of barriers this week, Cheryl. Might as well break gravity next.
Let's go. Let's destroy it. Who needs it?
Nobody needs gravity. Jung Ho An of Special Olympics Korea.
I keep saying so-and-so has been looking strong in the deadlift, and so-and-so. And I think everybody's been looking strong in the deadlift.
Oh, what a way to battle through there for Jung Ho An. 125 kilos, gets the 2 out of 3 lights that he needed.
Strong start position, strong drive through the floor, and 2 out of 3 white lights. Brilliant.
Jung Ho says he loves watching Netflix in his free time when he's not powerlifting, specifically anime. And then also is a big singer. Loves any sort of game that he can get into. Really competitive spirit. You see his competitive spirit on display in that lift.
I love anime as well. I have so much in common with these folks. Like, I could have like 6 best friends from this category alone.
We still need to just find out how to say, when's the next Zelda coming out in
right.
in Greek.
All right. Ryan's going to show us how it's done, and they did load 152.5 kilos on the bar, 336 pounds. He weighs 126 pounds. Go through, go.
Wow.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Well-deserved applaud.
Yeah, we got to give it up for Ryan right now. Now, what happened there? Successful in the gym. 100%.
Yep.
Amazing deadlift. Just giving it literally everything. I think a little lightheadedness, losing balance a little bit just at the very end. When you push that hard for that long against the barbell, it literally uses up every bit of oxygen, everything that you have in your muscles. So being able to maintain footing, it would have been absolutely perfect, but what a difficult thing to do. Wow, almost had it.
You could see it on his face, the amount of energy he was exuding. The applause of the Mesa rains down, rightfully so, after Ryan Stewart pulled through just until the very end. They give him a no lift, but the 37-year-old who spent 17 years in Special Olympics, showing why he's here once again. Now Vishal with the run of Vukarasu of Special Olympics India steps up, 155 kilos. Been so routine all day for Vishal.
All day. All day long. You put it on the bar, I will lift it, coach. That's what the exchange is right here between these folks, and I love it. I'm here for it. And leaving no room for doubt on that lockout at the very end.
Now Dimitrios Kyriakos Andreopoulos from Greece will step up here. You mentioned kind of a similar demeanor to Vishal in terms of how businesslike they are and how technically sound they've been too.
Yep, measured and controlled. You will notice a lot of high socks in deadlifting as well. Not unusual for the barbell to scrape. And that's another really, really good deadlift. And you can see all the chalk too.
I was going to say that.
All the chalk. His legs are not that white. That is chalk on the hands and on the thighs. Again, we don't want to create any space between the barbell and the body. And yeah, so just explaining the socks there and the chalk, but he keeps that very, very close. His core remains tight, and no doubt about that lockout at the very end.
Down to our final 2 lifts of this afternoon session. Lorena Salas of Lithuania will go, followed by Kwang Min, who have been 2 of the heaviest lifters of the day in each of the disciplines. Lorena Salas raises his fist with a smile on his face once again, walking to a stage that he's been so calm in.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say it's 385 3/4 pounds on the bar. Triple reds, those plates. Wow. There's just no hesitation. Moving it from the floor in that locked out position. Outstanding.
175 kilos. 24-year-old Lithuanian who looks up to Zydrunas Savikas, Lithuanian powerlifter.
And that's always a goal of a lifter. I mean, it was my goal. I never reached it, to be able to come out for a clean and jerk with all 3 of those red plates on there, those 25-kilo plates. Big weight on the bar.
Here comes Kwang Min. Bows to the crowd. 180 kilos.
And 96 3/4 pounds. Wow.
With ease, just as galvanized this crowd.
Now, that was no lift. It was.
They rule no lifts.
Oh, okay. So sorry, I was overhearing what the announcer was saying. I think there was like putting the bar down prematurely or something like that. Or I don't know, I missed it, but it didn't count. I apologize for that. He did explain it, but I couldn't quite hear what he said.
That will wrap up our 3 lifts for today. Squat, bench press, and deadlifts on an incredible opening day of powerlifting at the Mesa. We'll get our results determined soon. Just a marvelous first day here at the Mesa. So much energy. These 3 lifters and the momentum that we saw build throughout the course of the competition, culminating with the deadlifts. We'll get you some results pretty soon here.
Really excellent to see so much success, especially on the deadlift.
Yep.
It's the thing these athletes are going to take away, I think, the most. It's going to be the freshest in their memory and the audience, right? And we also pulled the most weight in the deadlift. What an outstanding way to finish the competition. And it makes me want to go work out, honestly.
It is.
I need to go pump some iron.
Incredibly inspiring in so many ways.
It is. We got a lot more competition to come. This is just day 1.
You see the results here of the deadlifts. Again, a very, very fun day wrapping up inside of the Mesa, the Special Olympics 2023 World Games here in Berlin. Been a blast to bring it to you today. A day that started with smiles and will wrap up with more smiles and more inspiration from these lifters that really showed out today, Cheryl. That was just so brilliant.
It was. And again, it makes me feel like I need to go work out.
Yep.
You know, feeling not very strong right now. But hey, kudos to the athletes though, doing all the hard work today and finishing out not only a wonderful day of competition, but doing it with a bang. The weight on the barbell, you can start to see things bend and shake, and it's gritty and it's chalky and it's sweaty, and I love it. And every single one of these competitors have very, very much to be proud of, making corrections in real time and not getting discouraged and really pushing through those barriers.
Love to see these athletes battling through. We talked about that mental pause that you kind of have to work your way through. It was incredible to see that and everything that they worked on today come to fruition. The training yesterday, but the months and the years that lead up to this competition, that all pays dividends. I can imagine the feelings of the families in attendance and the global audience that we had watching their children in some cases see that energy and emotion pay off on this stage.
100%. I mean, going behind the scenes and flashing back to all the years of training and being in the gym all the time, it doesn't really, not everybody gets it. Not everybody gets it, but you get on the stage, you load it up, and you put it all on display, and you get a chance to show off and kind of just be proud of everything you've done, and it really draws people in, and how can we not want to share that with somebody?
Well, one competitor who should certainly be proud of himself today is Lorenius Salius of Lithuania. Our own Kelsey Riggs is standing by live with him.
That's right. I've got him here with me now, and I was excited to talk to him all day because he comes off with such a big smile. I've got his coach and a translator with me. Can you tell him, first and foremost, we love the smile and the enthusiasm afterwards, and how did it feel to lift 175 kilos?
Сначала они очень люблю, как он довольный после штанги и как он чувствует после этого.
Mes matome, kad tu labai džiaugsmingas iškėlė štangą. Ar kaip tu jautiesi dabar?
Puikiai. Labai gerai.
Очень хорошо. Чувствуется.
He felt very good. Like the emotions, that's why he was smiling.
And the crowd was definitely loving to see what he was doing. And as I mentioned, 175 kilos. Just quickly, how you feel walking out of here after competing on the world stage?
А как вы оба чувствуешь после этого, чтобы он так выиграл?
Он уже всегда выигрывает, знаешь. Мы, как сказать, мы уже довольны и очень рады, что он выиграл.
He said that he wins a lot, and they are very happy and excited that he won again.
Oh, well, it was great to get to be a witness to it. Lorenius, congratulations. Very impressive stuff. Thank you for the time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. It takes a village to make all of this happen, and we appreciate everybody, a teamwork here to get that interview, because we definitely wanted to talk to him. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kelsey, and thanks to Lorenius. Congrats to all the athletes on this amazing opening day. Cheryl, your final thoughts to wrap it up here.
I can't wait for more competition.
I can't wait.
I'm fully inspired. And I'm going to be back here with bells on tomorrow. But truly, these competitors today knocked it out of the park. They really did. I didn't see anybody give up on anything, and that's what weightlifting is all about, period.
At one point you mentioned we're going to defy gravity, which I think we can do. We're going to keep defying the odds here in Berlin all week long and for the foreseeable future moving forward. It was an awesome opening day of powerlifting at the Messe. Again, our coverage continues through June 24th on ESPN Plus and ESPN3. More energy coming your way tomorrow. We'll have 2 more sessions in the morning and the afternoon. The best moments of the day, we'll take a peek at them and roll on out.
Yourself, we all together and gotta hide yourself. I mean, the spirit you got inside yourself. Unbeatable, untold, competing with one goal. We seen it unfold. I'm saying look back, smile at where you find yourself. Hold up. Are you ready? Oh, just do your best. 'Cause this is when we show the world we shining light. 'Cause I won't get up, I got too much to prove. No, I won't get up, I got too much to lose. 'Cause I won't get up, I got.
Are you a new AT&T customer looking to upgrade your phone? You're trapped, locked into your con. Has this happened to you? AT&T and Verizon rope you in with phone offers, then bind.
Whopper, Whopper, build your Whopper. Barbecue, bacon, more cheese, no shock.
Hey, heading on a family trip?
Nah, sorry, son. Prices are crazy. We're gonna have to skip it this year.
Aw, well, use Priceline. They have package deals no one else has.
5 pools. Water slide. We can do it.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Fury, it's time. This Wednesday, experience the 6-episode event that's a game-changing spy thriller.
We don't know who we can trust.
It's an absolute masterclass. A riveting and intense drama.
You're out of moves, Fury.
Marvel at its best.
You got to figure out which side you're on.
Nick Fury in Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion, streaming this Wednesday only on Disney+.
It's NBA Draft Time, Thursday on ESPN and ABC.
One app, one tap, giving the game. ESPN Plus, remember the name. One app with a slap so mean, got big plays from your phone to the big screen. Yeah, you'll feel like a VIP. Top shelf content blowing up your feed. One app, footwork you can't describe. Out here hitting bombs and doing it live. Rambo with a birdie so dirty, make you wanna kick back with a 30 for 30. ESPN Plus, it's in the app. Everything you want right here, no cap.